Warning. You are entering Open Lines Friday. For today anything goes. Thank you for your cooperation.
Listos pelos chingazos. Listos pelos chingazos.
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Welcome to our show.
All right, this
Warning.
is the Show.
You are entering.
Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. Open Lines Friday. Anybody can join. Everybody should join. Shout out to people in the chat. Thone. Oh, the 818. We have Marcus Boxeo, Dark Hado, Quick Sloth, Baron Evola, Romeo Rando. Guys, welcome. All right, link in the description if you want to join the panel, and I will be posting the link in the chat. And we have several topics that are going to be talking about, very interesting topics. The main topic, I would say, is that Terence Crawford said that Errol Spence Jr. is not a Hall of Famer, which I don't disagree with that, but kind of puts into question the thickness of his resume. All right, we have Mr. BDA here. BDA, welcome to the show.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you sound.
Don't forget
fine.
to lower my volume a little bit so that I don't
Yeah.
sound too hot on
Hat.
the
I'm gonna
YouTube. I
lower-
sound
okay.
hot enough already,
Yeah.
both in appearance and well, anyway. So you talk about the Crawford thing?
Yeah, let's start with that. So, what exactly did Crawford say?
He said Spence is a one division world champion. Crawford
Okay, can I
argues
just
like
ask you, where did he say that, or why did somebody ask him about Spence, or how did that come?
it
about?
was on the Camaro. It was on the Camaro Usman podcast. For those that don't know, Camaro Usman is a former, I believe, welterweight champion middleweight, I think. Anyway, he used to be a champ, 170 pounds, UFC. He's a wrestler. And his co-host is Henry Cejudo, who's considered one of the greatest MMA guys in the lower weight divisions. And they have a podcast. So they invited Crawford over because sometimes they've had boxers in the past. They've had Terence Crawford. They've had Kelly Plant and Benavides, I think. So they had Crawford on there. And Crawford said, by the way, Crawford argues like a casual fan, even when he's arguing against himself. He said Spence is not a Hall of Famer because he's only fighting one division and only, actually not necessarily that he's only fighting one, but that he's only won titles in one division, and that he still has to fight and reach the point that Crawford's already reached. Which, by the way, people see, Crawford said one thing and people are using it. You see, if the man himself is saying it, then that means his career and his dossier is subpar. I've often said that I do believe that the media has overrated Crawford. However, because now people are saying, well, Crawford himself is saying Spence is not a Hall of Famer. Spence is his best opponent. Therefore, Crawford doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. But we have to make the distinction too, Bucho. There's two, when people say, oh, this guy's a Hall of Famer, which Hall of Famer are we talking about? Are we talking about the current standards set by the International Boxing Hall of Fame, where they let Gaddy in, they've let Barry McGuigan in before that? I think Ignamar Johansson's in there, even though his claim to fame is having beaten Floyd Patterson and losing the title immediately afterwards, his first defense by knockout. He lost by knockout. I believe that was his first defense. I don't think he ever defended it. So, the standards have been lowered, and Chief and I have spoken before on this podcast about why that is. It's business related for the most part. Or are we talking, when people say, well, he's a Hall of Famer, are they talking about then the real Hall of Fame, the unwritten, unofficial Hall of Fame that we hold in our brains when we talk boxing? We're talking about
Yeah.
only the elite, the cream of the crop, the people that have gone above and beyond what most boxers are supposed to do. Is that the Hall of Fame we're talking about? If that's the one we're talking about, yeah, I would agree Spence wouldn't make it in there. But then here's the other argument is you don't necessarily have to be another Hall of Famer in order to make it into the Hall of Fame. Even by today's flimsy standards, I do think Mike McCollum deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And he doesn't have a Hall of Famer on his resume, as far as I know. I know Harold Graham is not in the Hall of Fame. Sumbu Kalambi is not in the Hall of Fame, or maybe I'm confusing African fighters, but I don't think that guy's in the Hall of Fame either. I don't think Donald Curry's in the Hall of Fame, unless I'm mistaken. And even if he were, like I said, by today's flimsy standards, he shouldn't be under. But by virtue of everything McCollum accomplished, three-division champ, the way he beat fighters, especially top fighters at the time. So you can beat fighters who were top-notch opponents in your era or during that era, but that didn't necessarily make it into the Hall of Fame. But if you beat enough of them, yeah, I think you should be in the Hall of Fame. And I do think Crawford, as much as I do believe he has been overrated slightly by the media and certain fans, I don't see the big deal about him saying Spence isn't in the Hall of Fame. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that Crawford should be in the Hall of Fame. But my issue is this, though. Like, he's saying that Crawford's not in the Hall of Fame, and Crawford is he's saying Spence shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, and Spence is Crawford's biggest win.
Right.
So what does that say about his other wins? They're definitely not Hall of Famer either, right? They're definitely not Hall of Famer either. So he's never been a Hall of Famer. Now, like you said, it happens in a career. You know, you can't just judge a guy because he didn't beat a Hall of Famer. You know, a boxer could dominate a division for 4 or 5 years. You know, that's a long time. And in those 5 years, he might not have defeated a Hall of Famer. Okay, fine. But when it comes to Terence Crawford, it seems like he's put on a pedestal, man. Like, this guy, like, one of the best we've ever seen. And you know, some people are now realizing that he never. I mean, his best win is Spence Jr.
For reference here, and just for sakes of our, you make a very good point, Butcher. You make very excellent points. And I just want to add to that before we continue this conversation that I've said it before, anybody can be overrated. You can be undisputed this, undisputed that, and still be overrated. For example, Canelo, after he unified 168 pounds, somebody could say, well, how can you criticize that dude? He just unified a whole division and beat 3 undefeated fighters in the process. But then when some people, it was a minority, but some people started saying, hey, he can be, why doesn't he fight Usyk? That is overrating a guy. So no matter what you do in boxing, you can still be overrated because there's no such thing as a perfect boxer. Overrating, part of it is when you start elevating an already accomplished fighter into godlike status. And that's what's happening with Crawford. Even with Bam Rodriguez, who has been making all the right moves. I've said it before on the show, when people start bringing up Inoue as a potential opponent for Bam Rodriguez, that's overrating Bam, because in other words, what you're saying is, oh, he's so good that the only guy who can even come close to beating him is, or the only guy with certainty that can beat him is a guy who's 2 divisions above him and who's a pound for pound stalwart. That, you know, that's overrating him because Bam still has a lot on his plate at 115. So yeah, so anybody can be overrated, and the same thing applies to Crawford. But there is room to criticize Crawford, like you said. You know, that's the thing that I agree with you. If Spence isn't a Hall of Famer, what does that say about the rest of Crawford's wins? And by the way, this argument that I've been seeing of people picking Crawford to dominate Canelo, part of that they often say is because, well, Crawford is a more complete fighter. He has skills. He has done things that he's going to show Canelo things that Canelo's never seen before. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, how can you argue that if Crawford's never shown that against a top opponent? Because Crawford just told you Spence, his best opponent, is not a Hall of Famer. So, in other words, what appears to me here, Bucho, is that our analysis of Crawford has always been correct in that he's a good fighter, but a lot of that is due to certain fortunate circumstances, one of which being he's got an eclectic mix of speed and power, and that power has bailed him out on a couple of occasions where he struggled, such as against Gamboa, against Jose Benavides Jr., even against Kell Brook, even though that fight didn't go past 4 rounds, I believe, or 5. What's the other one that he struggled with? Porter was struggling against Porter. So I'm not saying that he's on the same level as Tank, but he's had a similar path to Tank, in which certain fights are being tough, and he belts himself out with his power.
Hmm. I mean, he does get
And
hit.
now that
Though.
he's
He does get hit, but I mean, he shows that he has a good chin. You know, he doesn't collapse under pressure. Those are proper good attributes, but at the same time, he's getting hit by some of these guys.
absolutely, and I've given him credit because contrary to Tank Davis, when the going gets tough, he can show versatility. Like I said, one of my favorite Crawford fights is when he fought Kavaliauskas, because Kavaliauskas was hitting him as Crawford was backing up, and Crawford understood, hey, I can't keep backing up because I'm giving him momentum and space to launch that overhand right. I'm going to push him back. I'm going to do something to Kavaliauskas that he's unaccustomed to. And he tired him out by doing that. He drained his batteries and stopped him. So, Chief, please, man.
Sorry about that. I'm going to mute myself.
That's all right. That's all right. So just to recap, yeah, I do think Crawford is being overrated by the people that say that he's going to beat Canelo, because the argument then is becoming, well, Crawford is so skilled that his skill and talent is going to overcome the size disparity. And Crawford's telling you his best opponent doesn't make it to the Hall of Fame. So these magical skills that people attribute to Crawford, I have to ask, against whom has he been displaying them against then?
That's a big question. And by the way, if Crawford fights Canelo, then that would mean that Crawford's finally fighting a Hall of Famer.
That's the way it seems like.
So
Seems like
some of Crawford's fans have said that he's going to do to Canelo what Canelo's never seen before. So, and I'm not trying to say skill level and accomplishments and everything else, but so a guy that's fought Austin Trout, Lara, Cotto, and Mayweather, Canelo's going to do things that guy ever seen before. Okay.
Right. That's a good
Just
point.
checking.
That's a great point.
I mean, Chief,
Just
you've
checking.
been around boxing a while. You've seen, you've dealt with narratives and all that. It seems like here people are conflating Crawford with Mayweather. That's one of the things I see often. What do you think about that when people say, well, this is the first complete opponent Canelo's fought since Floyd Mayweather?
First complete opponent? I mean, you dive in and analyze each person's style. Go right ahead. As far as the only person that's really stepping up in this situation is Crawford. Canelo's not stepping up at all. And this isn't to disparage against Canelo. What I'm saying is the fact that Crawford's not just literally just like stepping up in weight. This is the biggest, most skilled, strongest, all-around opponent that's faced so many different styles that Crawford's ever faced. And as one of the biggest people on this panel, biggest Crawford fans, for lack of a better way of putting it, the supporter, I still have to acknowledge the fact that the only one really going out of their comfort zone that's really testing himself with this is Crawford. Canelo, on the other hand, because he's faced so many other opposition that's at least on par, if not possibly better, and that's a subjective argument, than Crawford, between Lara and Mayweather and well, he's even faced Bivol. I mean, come on. Even though he lost those two fights, they are at least on par, if not above, Crawford on all-around skill, competition, and everything else. So this is not necessarily the step up for him, and for people to say that Crawford's going to bring something that Canelo's never seen before. That guy went 12 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. He went 12 rounds with Bivol. He went 12 rounds with Lara. What is Crawford going to show that he hasn't seen already?
I was going to ask you guys that. What would that be? What do you guys think these people mean by that?
It's fan talk.
It's just
That's
fan
all it
talk.
means.
Damn.
They're Canelo haters. To me, I think it's the Canelo haters trying to pump up Crawford, and the fans they're haters that want to also pump up the fight altogether. And there's a lot of hardcore boxing fans like ourselves that we're going to watch this fight, but let's face it, are we really overly excited about this? Is it just because there's lack of multiple star power in multiple weight classes that we're really interested in this, or is it because this is really that great of a fight? I think it's the former more than the latter.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I can, instead of me telling you what, I have some examples saved here from what the people who are picking Crawford. Here's what they're saying. One guy says, Canelo isn't bigger than Bud, they're about the same height. Crawford is stronger to people who are stronger. If you've seen Bud lift, you will know that, he says. He's 100% more athletic, has a higher IQ than Canelo. See, that's the other thing. When people keep saying he has a higher IQ. Again, just because Crawford said, by the way, that Spence is not a Hall of Famer, people are taking his word as if it's gospel. A fighter can be wrong about things that involve him. Just like a fighter can overrate himself, I think equally a fighter can underrate himself with his comments. So I don't, just because Crawford said Spence isn't a Hall of Fame opponent, that doesn't mean it's true.
No,
and
he's
I don't,
right?
Well, he
Right.
shouldn't be.
But with that being said, when people say, "Well, I mean, he has this high ring IQ and blah blah blah," I'm thinking, I mean, to me, part of having a high IQ means, making adjustments. Can you fight on the back foot? Can you fight on the front foot? Can you fight real close, chest to chest, head to head? That type of stuff. But the other one is defense. If you're getting caught with the same punch over and over, and that's what happened against Majumov. He was getting hit over and over with the same right hand. Equally,
Right.
Jose Benavides Jr. was clapping, making his head jerk back and forth and side to side like he was JFK. Same thing with Gamboa. Same thing with Sean Porter. So, I mean, say what you want about Canelo. He's had losses and he's had close fights, but I've never, even in the fights that he's lost, I've never seen his head continuously getting bobbed up and down and side to side against fighters of lesser caliber, like Crawford has.
Yeah.
So this whole thing that comment I just read where this guy goes, Crawford has much higher IQ. I don't see that. Maybe if they could give you some examples, but they seldom do. Here's another one real quick. Somebody says, styles make fights, and I don't think Canelo's faster than Majumov, and that honestly could be all the difference. Floyd picked him apart, beating him to the punch. Crawford can win on his front foot 100%. So they're thinking that Crawford's going to back Canelo up. Canelo, another guy says, Canelo tailor-made for mobile fighters. And when's the last time he KO'd anybody? So based off that comment, what he's saying is all you have to do is be a mobile guy, and you're going to beat Canelo. And then when he says Canelo, when's the last time Canelo has KO'd anybody? So again, they're banking on the fact that Canelo's skills are so subpar. The only chance at winning he has is by knockout. They can't see Crawford losing by a decision, and that's because they underrate Canelo and they overrate Crawford.
Yeah.
Because he's slick, bro.
Yeah, this slickness.
Is that?
He's slick, apparently.
Because he's a slick
Crawford's
fighter,
not,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Crawford is not slick. Let's get that through our heads. This comparison with Floyd, simply because they're both African American. That's it. That's the reality. That's the truth. But that's ridiculous. They have completely different styles.
Yeah, completely different. Absolutely.
I know, but
Fight
that's what they
nothing
keep
right.
saying.
No, no, I know what you mean.
And by the way, can I
defenders
say
keep
that?
saying he's slick.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Can I say that I do believe this is boxing? Anything can happen, and it is true that Crawford has extremely long arms, and I think he's actually seems like taller than Canelo. So there is a path to victory. But if he wins, I can see him squeaking a decision. I don't see him schooling Canelo, and that's what these guys get wrong. Is that they're overrating. Some people even think Crawford's gonna, because that's I'm telling you, I got the comments right here. Some people are saying he's gonna wash Canelo, meaning 10-2 or 11-1.
Have we even seen Crawford fight anywhere near middleweight, let alone super middleweight? No, we haven't.
No.
The perfect example of how only a few pounds makes a huge difference is Wilfredo Gomez. Can knock anybody in the world out at 122. He puts on 1 pound, and everybody goes the distance. So now that's only one fighter, but there's many examples of people that just couldn't. I got another one for you. I just about to say his name. The Filipino Flash.
Donaire.
Donaire. Once he got to 122, he was still fast. He could still punch. He could still box. But to do it all completely at one time simultaneously, like he could at 118, that went away. Only 4 pounds. Those 4 pounds, it all went away.
Yeah.
Well,
And so he could still do it individually, but he couldn't do it all at once. So that was the whole point I was trying to make on that one. So to wrap up this real quick on that idea is those 4 pounds were a big deal to Donaire. Now we're talking from 154, which Crawford's only fought at once, all the way up to 168, and we're going to think that he can actually keep doing anything. Like it's not going to affect any of his all-around skills at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those lower weight divisions, people often say that, right? Like, like anyway, that's the criticism we hear. All he had to do was move up 4 pounds, but it's all relative. It's relative compared in those lower weight divisions. 4 pounds appears to be more. Again, I'm not entirely convinced of that, but that's the way it seems like to me. So, and here's the other thing, though, we were discussing then. Is it possible then, because again, for people that just joined us, Terence Crawford is saying that Spence is not a Hall of Famer by virtue of the fact that he's only reigned in one division, that he's never fought another Hall of Famer or beaten any other Hall of Famer. Butcho, I think we got
Neither did he. Yeah, we have Buy Me a Coffee. I see people are still using Buy Me a Coffee. I have to
Good.
log in. Yeah, Super Chats are back, people, but also if you want to support us via Buy Me a Coffee, that is welcomed. What the fuck? How do I log into this shit?
more than welcome.
Yeah.
I prefer those over Super Chats.
I keep going BDA. I'm going to try to log in again to this thing. It logged me out.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about, Crawford versus Crawford saying that denigrating his own big win. I am curious too. I want to get into them. Why would Crawford say that? Is he just not thinking ahead about what he said? Because that's the other thing. Some people are saying, well, at least he's honest. I'm thinking, I'm not too interested in whether he's honest or not. I'm interested in whether what he's saying has merit in regards to his own career. The other thing we were talking about is Mike McCollum. Chief, did Mike McCollum ever be the top pound for pound guy or an all-time great? I don't remember.
Maybe not while they were ranked that way, but he did beat Julian Jackson, who eventually made the Hall of Fame.
He did?
Yeah, Julian Jackson made the Hall of Fame.
The International Boxing Hall of Fame, not the California or.
I'm pretty sure he might be in both, but I'm 90% sure he and Buddy McGirt both made the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Okay, but you agree, or this? What do you think? Can you make it? Can you be a legitimate Hall of Famer without necessarily having beaten another Hall of Famer?
Well, sometimes the body of work that you do gets you to the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's face it, Matt, with the exception of Julian Jackson, and we also have to face the fact that Mike McCallum was in the Hall of Fame before Julian Jackson got there.
Mm-hmm.
It was his body of work that he did over everything that people thought got him to the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying I'm not one of them. I think the fact that he won a title in the third weight class at an old age is what really cemented it all.
Yep.
For him. But again, it was a body of work because he lost to Samuel Columbe. When he beat Columbe in a rematch, let's face it, that was not overly, that wasn't Hall of Fame, huge credentials. Neither was Collins. So it's just the fact that sometimes it's your body of work that puts you in there. Now, let me look real quick. Well, I'm going to put myself.
Well, I'll say this, man.
Tim
Bradley.
Just quickly, Trayson. That's how we call him, right? Trayson. Trayson, thank you for your donation, $10. He says, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. He's absolutely correct, guys. Hit the like button. It really helps the show with the algorithms and all of that. So please hit the like button. Go ahead, BA.
Shout out to Trey Asen. And $10, that means you have to hit it 10 times. Or two people have to hit it 5 times. But so 10, we got to get 10 likes because of that. So shout out to Trey Asen. Another guy that's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame is Terry Norris. And I know Chief has a lot to say about Terry Norris. We're planning an episode on that. But
what do you say about Terry Norris?
Well, no, what I'm saying is he's got an old Sugar Ray Leonard. That's the first name that comes to mind as an all-time great. But it's also like what we're talking about Mike McCollum. It's the body of work that got him into the Hall of Fame, not necessarily how many Hall of Famers did he defeat. So, yeah, I do think it's possible to get into the Hall of Fame without necessarily having beaten another all-time. I think Timothy Bradley, even if he didn't have Pacquiao or Marcus, you could make an argument that he could be in there.
I love Arturo Gatti, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's not.
There's not a lot of deep resume names on there, but he won titles in 2 weight classes and he has a winning record in title fights. And he was in Fight of the Year at least 4 times, and only Carmen Basilio and Muhammad Ali beat those, had more Fights of the Year. So he has credentials to go with. Buddy McGirt, on the other hand, did not have a great resume of victories. He has titles in 2 weight classes, but the 2 quote-unquote great fighters, and I really say quote-unquote because I don't think Mildred Taylor achieved greatness, even though he was talented. I don't think his talent equaled out to his greatness. And that's all due respect to him. I just don't think I don't think he lived up to everything. But those 2 top-notch guys, he couldn't beat, and those were the biggest names he basically even faced. Yet he's in the Hall of Fame. Donald Curry was an undisputed welterweight champion. All right, what names does he have on his record that really make you go, oh wow, yeah, none. And
wait, did Curry finally make it into the? Did
Yes,
Curry finally make it in? When?
Yeah, around the same time as Buddy McGirt.
Well, no, don't. McGirt got in the 2000s.
All right. Well, while we're talking about this, I'll go get the dates.
Yeah, because I don't know, man.
But he's in, and I'm not gonna say he doesn't deserve to be in. It's getting to the point to where people that are in the Hall of Fame earned it, and they deserve to be in there. Many of them do, but now that doesn't necessarily mean you're an all-time great, because there's obviously going to be levels that you're measured within the Hall of Fame. Donald Curry and Buddy McGirt are not Tommy Hearns. They're never going to be considered like Tommy Hearns. Doesn't mean that they didn't do a body of work that didn't warrant them to be voted for. It just means that when you start to think about different levels of greatness, you know and the problem is, I've said this before, it's the International Boxing Hall of Fame, not accomplishments. There's no written criteria of what you have to accomplish to get in there. So it's almost like if you win a championship in 2 weight classes, you're in doesn't mean you're getting in, but you're in the discussion. And I know that for a fact, because I still say this all the time, so that all the writers that listen to this show will know. Wilfredo Vasquez is still not in the Hall of Fame. 9 defenses, all on the road at 122, 3-time weight division, a win over Orlando Canizales, who's in the Hall of Fame, and Vasquez is still not in. But Buddy McGirt, Donald Curry, and Tim Bradley are. Okay, that's all I got to say.
Could you please clarify? Yeah, please look that up if Donald Curry really did make it. Another guy that finally made it in recently was Rafael Marquez a couple of years ago. I don't know how long it took for him.
Yeah,
I don't know how long it took for him to make it in, but I guess he got overshadowed by his older brother Juan Manuel. But remember, there was a time that Rafael Marquez, I'm talking 2007, he was actually considered superior to his brother by virtue of his accomplishments. But then obviously Juan Manuel Marquez did his thing and overtook him. I mean, I guess we could talk about this all night long, but just to maybe, I don't know if we're going to move on to something else pretty soon. But Jimmy, I think it was Jimmy who said, listen, maybe what the International Boxing Hall of Fame should do is have a section where it's, like the platinum section. Like, all right, did you, like I said earlier, you went above and beyond what regular professional boxers are supposed to do. And then have another one where it's about impact in the sport, like Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. Because really, I mean, they have a different, that's what they already do to a certain extent when they have non-boxers. Like Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, not like Stallone is in there and all that, but not because of his boxing resume, but because of what he contributed to the boxing world. And I think they could do something similar with other boxers. I think with Fernando Vargas,
who wants to be on that one?
You're going to mention. You're going to ask me about him.
I know Chief always tells me, man, Vargas should be in there. But some people say, hey, listen, if the amount of respect that he brought to the table from fans.
He's the youngest junior middleweight champion.
People can look at his career. I'm sorry, Butch, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, just said youngest junior middleweight champion of all time. Go ahead.
I'm not going to argue if people are going to look at his career and say, hey, is he eligible? I'm not going to. I won't do that, because he did risk his life in the ring. He was an impactful guy when he was in, and he did unify. No, man, I've unified. He won the junior middleweight twice more. The junior middleweight title more than once. I don't think he ever fully successfully unified. That being said, though, you obviously know that, I'd have to be objective if I was going to vote for him, because my first personal thought would be not on your life. But that's not the point. That's personal. It goes way back a ways. Donald Curry did get inducted in 2019 in the International Hall of Fame. Canastota. So I just want to clarify that part.
No, yeah.
Just the word, the specific word the Chief used when he was talking about Vargas not being in the Hall of Fame. I think he said blasphemy. I think that's what he said, blasphemous. So anyway, just to be specific about what he said.
About Vargas, I say he should be there if Arturo Gatti is there. That's what I always say. But I'm not advocate. I mean, I'm not saying Vargas should be there. I'm just saying if Gatti is there, then I think Fernando Vargas should be there.
Yeah, they opened up the floodgates, man. They opened up by letting Gatti in there. They opened up the floodgates to pretty much anybody can get in now.
Well, they opened up the floodgates with Ken Norton and Jose Torres. What Jose Torres was one of the youngest light heavyweight champions of all time. Great. He had about 3 defenses, lost the title, never won it back.
Well, that Dick Tiger rematch was pretty close. There was a riot afterwards. I mean,
I get it. And that was a memorable fight. But if we're talking about when we're looking at guys like Orlando Canizales, he's in because of 16 title defenses at bantamweight. And then you look at the fact back when there's only one champion per division, Jose Torres has like 3 title fights altogether, and he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame because he's from New York. The New York writers voted him in, and Customato was his trainer. It's not that he wasn't talented, but his accomplishments aren't very deep. That's my point. And I'm not saying he wasn't a great fighter, wasn't skilled or anything else, or what he could do against other light heavyweights. When we're looking at accomplishments, which is what we usually do first, we're saying, well, what did they do to get in? His are not very deep. Ken Norton never won the title in the ring. It was handed to him out of the ring, and he lost it in his first title defense, and he's in the Hall of Fame. And
let's not forget
one win over Muhammad Ali. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Let's not forget too, when they send out the way they do they decide, hey, who gets in, who gets out. They just send a bunch of ballots out to the members, the writers who have a say, and it's yay or nay. I don't know exactly if then the higher ups tally all that and actually have a discussion, or how much of a discussion they have. But I think, Chief, you made a good point. Like with the rules in boxing, which are pretty muddy. When people, when we discuss about clinching, some people say, well, clinching is illegal, and then other people say, no, it's excessive clinching. So the same thing here. Let's try to be as clear as possible. What are the requirements to get into the International Boxing Hall of Fame? Because otherwise, anybody can get in if they're subjective.
By the way, just
but go
ahead,
sir.
No, go ahead. Then we'll talk.
I don't know of too many non-champions or non-titleists that are in. I'm not saying there aren't any, because I know Charlie Burley. I'm pretty sure Charlie Burley's in. And he never won a title. But most other non-titleists, no matter how good they were, I want to say most, I mean many. I'm not going to put a number of what most and many means, but there's a lot of really talented fighters from certain eras that never won a title that never got in. So it's mostly champions that are in the Hall of Fame.
Specifically, if we're talking pre-1980s, you could have never gotten your hands on a title, but still be a Hall of Famer, because back in those days, it was pretty difficult to get that title shot when there was only one, or maybe even two. There was the New York State Athletic Commission title, and then there was the other one, I forget which one. And people sometimes say, well, that wasn't the real title, blah blah blah. So it's much more difficult back then to get yourself a championship. But if you beat enough contenders, top contenders, you could have an argument from guys from the 50s and 40s and 60s that, hey, they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Because like I keep saying, and people finally getting on board, there's 4 titles now, including 2 or 3 variations of one of or some of those titles. So at one point or another, you may have in a division 7 people calling themselves champions. Back in those days, those guys, 6 of those guys wouldn't have been the real champ; they'd be contenders. And so it's the same thing.
No, go ahead. I know what I'm going to say, but I wanted you to.
No, it's just that. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you could, if you have guys from the 40s, 50s, 60s who never got their hands on the title, but they beat a whole bunch of top contenders, and they have a good argument to be in the Hall of Fame.
Today, basically, it's like who stands out. So, all right, all these championships, and some of them, like the WBA, was overly saturated. So WBC had a silver, a gold, a diamond, a youth, and then the WBA had an interim, a regular, and a super, and probably something else along the way. So those two definitely overly saturated the sport a good bit, because if you really look at it from any other point of view, Tank was not a 3-division champion for a while because he was that quote-unquote regular guy. That being said, if you're going to, and now we're going down a different rabbit hole temporarily before we go back to the Hall of Fame talk, is when you go into that regular and non-regular and stuff like that. So does Triple G really have 20 title defenses because they elevated Felix Sturm to super champion for no reason, so he wouldn't have to fight him? So those like first 5 or 6 title defenses no longer count because it was a regular belt?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So then now you almost get to play favorites on, well, they always won those regular titles, but Triple G's got 20 title defenses. You have a 5 or 6 in more of the regular belt. So if we don't count that for this guy, you can't count it for that guy, which now muddies the waters on your credentials for the Hall of Fame. Most people are going to say, well, Triple G fought everybody there was. He was avoided a lot. He unified a large portion of the division, and then he's got 20 title defenses. And then your asterisk is there. Did he really have 20 because of the regular title and blah, blah, blah. So, all right. Point being, though, with the regular belts, all the belts, let me just sum up in the fact that it's how people stand out after that. And so who unifies, who doesn't, who wins titles in more than one weight classes, who wins minimum of like 4 titles in 4 weight classes nowadays. because it's easier to do at those lower weight classes. So that's how you're going to stand out versus anyone else.
Hey, wait, okay, then Butcher, like for example, I don't know, does Broner make it to the International Boxing Hall of Fame? Because he won titles in 3 divisions, right?
No, it's not enough. I mean, yeah. Yeah, we got to look at the resume. We got to break it down. Who did they fight? You know, when we talk about Crawford, do we really talk about him defeating Indongo? Right? Because that's that fight that he had to win in order to unify the division. But we just mentioned, he unified 140, but we don't really mention, remember that night when he beat Ndongo? No. So it's who you fight that matters. Not really like the belts.
And then it depends on how much you really are campaigning for or against that guy. Because as the guy that used to campaign for Crawford, I used to use Ndongo as a situation of like, okay, no one thinks that Ndongo's a great fighter. Maybe he peaked at just the right time. But how many 2-belt undefeated champions have people beaten in their career? And Ndongo was an undefeated champion with 2 belts.
Right, but
not everybody accomplishes that, and so he actually faced the guy that did that. Even if so, that
he was the champion for a reason.
There's where people come in the argument.
But I mean, when we're trying to look at a fighter and analyze his career in order to determine whether or not he's a Hall of Famer or an all-time great, and all of that, we all agree we got to look at the resume. And we got to put it into context. Ndongo, okay, maybe he peaked at that time. Right? He's a good champ. He was a champion, obviously, so he was a good boxer. But he's not it wasn't a legendary win for Terence Crawford. Right? In the
right, because he's not a legendary. Because Ndongo's not a legendary fighter.
Yeah, comparing him to.
Hey, by the way,
yeah.
Tony Boswell says, "Look, I don't like it," he says, "but they will put Wilder in the Hall of Fame." Yeah. But with today's standards in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, will we be seeing Wilder there one day?
There's a possibility. How many total title defenses did he have, including draws?
I forget. It was close to 10, right?
Now go looking at the heavyweight title and how many people have 10 title defenses.
Yeah, but it goes back to what we were saying. If this were the 1940s, would he even be a champion? Because now we got like I said, we got 4 titles floating around. So people say, well, he defended his title. What title? And against whom? Were these guys top contend? Some of these guys weren't even in the top 10 ring heavyweight rankings.
True. But I know of a lot of fighters that are in based off of at least double digit or in the conversation. Like Tom Boom Boom Johnson's still not in the Hall of Fame yet, but he's in discussion every year because he has 11 title defenses of the featherweight title.
Well, that's the other thing, though. It's now, remember, the other thing the International Boxing Hall of Fame changed a couple of years ago was that you had to wait 5 years after you retired before you could be considered eligible for induction. They changed it to what is it now, 3 years?
They cut it back to 3.
Yeah, so I mean, these people are in it for the money too. So they're lowering the standards just to have more recognizable faces, so they can attract more people to these festivities every year.
Well, it is a business because it's not a. I don't know how the NFL ties into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if the NFL owns it and if that corporation of an entity of the NFL owns that. I don't. The Boxing Hall of Fame is strictly run by like events, so it is a business. And it will close down if they can't keep people coming. So there is a downside to, and I think a guy named Abel looks like he said it's a watered down Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, there is a bad side to the Hall of Fame, and the fact that you've got to keep people coming during induction week because that's when they make the most money. I mean, Camp Stowe, New York does not bring people in year round. When it's not induction week, it's not summertime. Not a lot of people go there. And when not a lot of people go there, they don't make any money.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, can I ask something?
Yep.
What qualifies a Hall of Famer, in your opinion?
That's what we're talking about. There isn't anything.
Yeah,
you have to beat another great. You have to beat another great fighter to be a Hall of Famer. You think so?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you don't have to beat another Hall of Famer. This is my opinion. Because everybody has their own opinion. This is subjective. In my opinion, you gotta either have a very good resume, or at least have dominated one division for a very long time.
Do you think?
Answer your question real quick. To answer your question one more time. To answer your question, there is no written criteria.
Yeah, there's no written criteria.
And by the way, we were talking about this earlier. Like we were giving examples of guys who've never beaten another Hall of Famer, but are in the Hall of Fame, and two of those were actually one of those was Mike McCollum. I brought up what's his name? Fuck, Chief, you're a fighter, man. I don't know why I'm freezing up here, but
Terry Norris.
Terry Norris, who's only has one Hall of Famer in his record, as far as I can recall, was an old Sugar Ray Leonard, and he's in Terry Norris. That is. So yeah, there are examples of people making it into the Hall of Fame without necessarily having beaten other Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
he beat 16 world champions.
Well, what is your criteria?
I know. I'm just saying.
What's your criteria then?
Who?
Do you think
Solid.
Andre Ward, based on what the fact that he was able to go into the Super Six and just win it against the best middleweights in the world, is that Hall of Fame material? Somebody that could do that?
I would
that's
say,
probably why he got
I would say yes. But even though, I mean, some of his wins were good.
So he's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's already in the Hall.
So in your opinion, y'all approve him being in the Hall of Fame based on that?
I would say yes.
I would, because it's not only. Let's remember, it wasn't just the super middleweight. He also won the. He didn't. No, he did win the legitimate light heavyweight. But then again, forget it. We're not getting into discussion about whether he cheated or whatever. Just the results itself. Yeah, he should get into the Hall of Fame, and he is.
He's undefeated. He has a winning record in title fights against world champions, legitimate world champions. He won more than one belt at super middleweight. He was never undisputed, but he won several titles there. And then he moved up to light heavyweight and won that title and defended against, at the time, the best light heavyweight in the division at the time. So
Kovalev.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say no. But I'm not going to rank him at light heavyweight as far as Hall of Famers go above Virgil Hill, because Virgil Hill was there his entire career. And
Andre Ward was better as a super middleweight than the light heavyweight.
Hey, here's another guy who was Wilder-esque in his career, Adonis Stevenson.
Yep.
Technically, some people could argue he won. I mean, he won the lineal light heavyweight title when he took it off Chad Dawson.
He did.
And then like Wilder, he defended it a whole bunch of times, even though it was against a lot of guys who weren't even ranked in the top 10. One of his best opponents at one point was Badu Jack, who wasn't really.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. Okay. I would vote no on Wilder being a Hall of Famer because he was just a one-trick pony, just that right hand, no real technical boxing skills. Because I like technical fighters, guys that really know what they're doing, that know how to fight for real, not just knockouts. All he did was just knock you out. That's not really impressive to me. I understand he was winning. He was undefeated for a long time. Then they put him in there with somebody that knows what they're doing, and he got his ass whooped. But just the fact that he lacks real boxing skills, he's just a big, strong guy that can throw a right hand. To me, that's not Hall of Fame material. So you asked about Wilder, I would vote no.
But then the counter argument to that is
Solidus, what do you think about Terence Crawford saying that Errol Spence Jr. is not a Hall of Famer? Do you agree with that comment?
Yeah, Terence Crawford on some bullshit. See, unlike y'all, I can criticize y'all. See, unlike y'all, unlike the Mexicans, I can criticize my own people. I don't have to dick with my people. Really? He full of shit saying that. Like Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer. Like he fought him.
Off of what?
He was a great fighter. He won belts. He fought at a long time. He was undefeated for a long time. Well, that's really hard to do in boxing. You guys don't box. You guys just talk. So you wouldn't know.
All right.
It's like, so that makes him a Hall of Famer. And he fought he retired. When I was some years ago,
we didn't.
Let him finish.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
When I was in, he retired Mikey Garcia. I met Mikey Garcia in Las Vegas some years ago when I was in Vegas. Mikey Garcia, a great Mexican boxer. He moved up in weight to fight Spence. He said that was one of the worst things he could ever did. He said the weight. He said once he got hit by them punches by Spence, he said he knew it was over with. And he retired after that fight because he said it fucked him up too much.
By the way. He didn't retire,
Spence, he did retire for that.
No, he didn't. He fought Jesse Vargas. He fought Jesse Vargas afterwards in Sandor Martin.
When I met
seen Mikey Garcia, who was coked out most of the time and not even trying properly.
I don't care what happened when I met him. He did.
Guys, before we continue, let me just say, all right, go ahead, finish your point, and then I'll talk. Go ahead.
But nonetheless, Spence is a Hall of Famer. Yes, I don't.
Based off of
Crawford.
All right,
he has a good resume.
All right,
he fought some in his weight. In his weight class, he fought guys that were on that level. I feel like Sean Porter was his best win because that was a really good fight. He got that. He beat Danny Garcia. He came, I guess, car accident. He came back. No tune-up fight. Beat Danny Garcia. That's some Hall of Fame shit. So, yes, he is a Hall of Fame.
Really.
Crawford smoking on Bud for real saying that. Y'all know
What I tell them, guys. How you guys doing?
Before you guys continue, let me
we're doing good.
guys, hold on, Chief.
We're
Let me just before you
debate.
Chief, before you go in, let me just say this.
Yes,
I'm on BoxRec, so Terence Crawford has 6 title defenses since he beat Kell Brook, 6 title defenses, and that spanned from 2018 to 2023. Well, he lost 2022. So 6 fights in 5 years. Go ahead, Chief.
It's the same conversation I had for almost 10 years about the overhype of Errol Spence. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but I love car wrecking comes back against Danny Garcia, who has 0 legit welterweight wins over top fighters. So that's like a really big, people love to overhype that.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What should he have done to be a Hall of Fame?
Let him finish.
I want to hear this. Go ahead. What should he have done to be a Hall of Famer?
I mean, I'm just saying that the stuff you're putting out there is just.
No, I'm just saying, what's this magical shit he should have did to be a Hall of Famer? Explain that to me.
What else he should have done? Beat Crawford.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He fought Crawford.
Let me hold on. You're asking me a question. Let me break it down instead. Sean Porter.
And not be no bullshit either.
I don't care what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you. Well, first of all, you're going to let me talk. Second of all, when I do talk, I'm going to bring facts. And 3, I don't care about your opinion. So, Sean Porter, no major wins over any welterweights of his era, except for Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, no wins over any welterweight of his era. What's the other one? Ugas barely beat a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, been out of the ring for a year, and he's been staggered. Spence, that is, in every title fight he's had, even against his B-rate competition like a Campo and a featherweight in Danny Garcia. So now, if you're going to put this out there you're not going to vote in Wilder, who I agree with you with though, but because he was a one-trick pony and all he could do is knock a guy out, but you are going to vote in someone like Errol Spence, who's been noticeably staggered and hurt in every title fight, including against B-rate competition, and say it's a sure thing because he beat Danny Garcia without a tune-up fight. I'm sorry, I kind of question things.
Okay, so see this, I don't get it, but whatever. So okay, when he was at 147 and during his prime, during Earl Spence's prime years, who were the top fighters at 147? 147.
You have to actually address what Chief is saying, not just ask question after question.
But that's all I get from people that try to defend Spence. That's all I get from people that try to defend Spence. They'll move the goalpost. They'll move the goalpost every time. They'll re-ask questions, but they'll never answer anything or debate anything that I come up with.
Okay, I'll answer the question and I'll get back to what I was saying. You're saying those guys that Spence beat had issues and they're not on that level. How is that Spence's fault? You're fighting who's in your weight class that have belts that are on that level to fight. You fight them and beat them. But you're saying, Porter, he didn't do this. Garcia never beat nobody. How is that Spence's fault?
He arguably didn't even beat Porter. There are people that believe
when they raised their hand at the end of the fight, they raised Spence's hands, right? Okay, so Spence won.
Yeah, no.
My question is, how is that Spence's fault if these guys are lacking?
It's not Spence's fault.
You said these guys were.
It's not Spence's fault. I agree, but that's the situation, and unfortunately, because of that, he cannot be considered Hall of Famer. But it's not whether his fault or not. It's a reality. Those guys weren't that good.
So he can't get Hall of Fame because of that?
No, he can't.
He can't get Hall of Fame because of that?
Six title offenses?
Oh, come on.
You're right.
No.
That's not how that works.
He wasn't the undisputed champion.
Well, how does it work then? Tell me. Since there's no criteria, you tell me how it works.
It's not his fault.
If you do good work, in the ring, if you do good work in the ring at a high level and it's consistent, that's enough to be a Hall of Fame.
Okay, so 10 title defenses. So wait a minute. So wait a minute then. 10 title defenses at heavyweight, which very few people have done, and almost all by knockout. That's not high level. It is high level. but you won't vote for Wilder.
No, he don't. He don't have the skill set.
Wilder should be in the Hall of Fame a lot more than.
So now it's about skill set.
Didn't I say I don't like Wilder because of his skills? I told you I don't like Wilder because he didn't have no real boxing skills. I told you that already.
Why does that matter?
My point is this.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
My point is
skills
this.
in boxing don't matter.
My point is this. Every Spence fan moves the goalpost. You're doing it right now.
I just responded to what you said. That's not moving the goalposts.
You totally moved the goalpost because it was about doing things at a high level. You said doing things at a high level. Wilder did that. Oh, but he doesn't have skill, so you just move the goalpost. That's literally the definition of moving the goalpost. That's literally the English definition. That's literally the English definition of moving the goalpost.
But wait a minute though.
You just
everybody. But how are you arguing that? You agree with me that Wilder's not a Hall of Famer. How are you arguing that if you agree?
But you're adjusting your standard. You're adjusting your standard. Because you said yourself.
Do you agree that Wilder's a Hall of Famer? Do you agree that Wilder's a Hall of Famer?
I believe the fact that he's going to be in discussion because of his title defenses.
Yes.
Based on what you saw when you watched him fight, is he Hall of Fame to you?
And he will be in there because of title defense. Oh, not in there, but he will be in discussion because of title defenses. That is a fact.
Now, Spence didn't have that much skills, dude. He wasn't that skillful of a fighter.
Let's say
I'm not arguing that. First of all, I'm not
talking. I'm talking about the other guy. He's talking about skills. I mean, skills doesn't determine if you make it into the Hall of Fame or not. You could be a bum and knock dudes the fuck out, you know?
So being a highly skilled boxer over a long period of time is not Hall of Fame like.
Look, let me say this.
Mayweather, he won every single fight.
They put Arturo Gotti. Dude, look, they put Arturo Gotti into the Hall of Fame. Was he a highly skilled fighter?
He was a good fighter.
No, he was an action fighter. That's why they put him in the Hall of Fame. Because he was excited.
He wasn't the best. He wasn't the best fighter. I understand that, but he was a good fighter, though. I could kind of see that. Like, okay, he was cool. I mean, he wasn't all that. I get that. I'm not.
But his accomplishments were low.
He was a better boxer than Wilder, though. Could we agree on that?
I don't know about that. Wilder's pretty.
Wilder's low competition, yeah. And look, I'm a huge Arturo Gotti fan. Hold on, I'm a huge Arturo Gotti fan. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter.
But it's about the fact that he didn't do it at the highest level, which was what part of your criteria that you said your words yourself 2 minutes ago. So Arturo Gotti's in.
I would say a fighter like David Lemieux is not Hall of Fame material.
Dude, you're being a little racist saying that Wilder shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Is this because he's black?
No, never mind that. What I'm saying is David Lemieux, he loses all his big fights and he don't really have no good fighting skills. So I would say that's not a Hall of Famer. Spence is much better.
He didn't do enough. He didn't do enough to go to Hall of Fame.
I know y'all could agree with that.
I don't think Spence should go in the Hall of Fame either. I don't even really think Crawford should go to Hall of Fame eventually. I don't really think so. I don't think he did enough.
Whoa.
I think he's Sully's
gonna go crazy.
Can I say something real quick?
He's gonna go crazy.
I know you're trying to bait me with that silly shit, but I'm not gonna fall.
Ward shouldn't go to Hall of Fame either. For what? Low blows? The headbutts?
Hold on.
Can I say something real quick?
Guys, let me talk. This is Bucho talking. Let Severino jump in. He hasn't said anything. Go ahead.
Okay, finally. Well, I understand your point that, that if you believe Spence is a Hall of Famer, I understand the Wilder point. Well, I think Wilder has a bigger chance because of, as they mentioned, that the 10 title defenses are heavyweight, something that I don't really think more than 5 heavyweights have ever done it. I'm not completely sure about it. Somebody can correct. Yeah,
Deontay, Bomb Squad.
Hold on. Yeah, let me cook. Because the thing is, we're talking, because if he does we're talking about title defense and things like that. We're talking about like things on paper, who you fired, your record or whatever. But also there is something in the Hall of Fame that you have to be, memorable, like people have to remember you for something about a legacy. Errol Spence, hold up. Errol Spence is no denial that he was, he was somebody in the welterweight division for a minute, but that he's a Hall of Famer. I don't want to say he will or he will not, because nowadays anybody can be. But I just don't believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, to be honest. I get it. He was knocking down guys that they just happen to be half belts. But hold on. Because here's the thing. Like I actually met Errol Spence. If we're talking about who, like I actually met him. Okay. So the point is, I don't really think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm not sure if he will be. I'm not saying he won't. But I don't really think he has enough to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer, especially like when you're coming up with guys like Bud, at 2 division, undisputed world champion, even though he was beating up cans and a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. Even though I like Bud, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors in his resume. What happened?
Why do y'all keep saying that? Why do y'all keep saying that? They beating up cans. They're fighting guys in the divisions. Why do y'all keep saying that shit?
I'm talking about Crawford, man.
That's not even realistic. Every time they say that, oh, he beat up cans. Who the fuck's he supposed to fight? He's fighting guys in his division. What do you mean cans?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Why does everybody keep saying that stupid shit? Y'all do know that stupid shit, right? Y'all keep saying.
Well, okay, let me jump in on this one. You do realize that different eras are more tougher than others.
Hold on. He's fighting guys in his division. That's his weight class. He's fighting them.
Wait, hold on. What's your name, bro? What's your name, bro?
Solidus.
Your response is their buns in their cans. Like, how does it make sense?
Hold on, relax. What's your name, bro?
We need to do face videos. I need to know if y'all got a straight face saying that.
He was fighting some cans, bro. He was.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you saw Salicious.
Yeah, of course he was. Sean Porter.
Salicious T.
You're fighting guys in your weight class, and you say they're buns in their cans. How does that make sense? Who's he easy?
Let me explain it.
One at a time.
Hold on, let me explain it.
One at a time.
Everybody's quiet. All right, I'm gonna have to mute.
It is.
Let me explain it, dog. Let me explain it.
Go ahead.
That's not realistic, bro.
All right.
You can't explain it. That's not realistic.
Let him talk.
Soldius T. Let him finish.
Let him explain. Calm down.
And then you'll get a rebuttal.
All right, Severino, go ahead.
Good. All right, man. Let's just relax, man.
Calm down.
Go ahead.
I mentioned cans, right? But I also mentioned smoke and mirrors. Like, for example, like when Crawford beat Brook, do you actually believe that it was a healthy Brook with 2 broken eye sockets, not able to make the weight, and putting in a rehydration clause? Is that the same Kell Brook that, fought Sean? Wait, hold up. That fought Sean Porter? I don't think so. So at the point, you can consider him a can at 147. Let's go down the road. Sean Porter about to retire. He said in previous podcasts that he didn't even know he had it anymore. They offered a good amount of money that couldn't say no. He gave it a good fight, but at the end he lost against Crawford, right? At 140, if I put your gun to your head, other than Postal and maybe in Dongo, the last guy who he knocked out 140, do you even remember who he fought at 140? I don't think so, right? If you put a gun onto your head, can you mention 5 guys other than Gamboa and Ricky Burns that Crawford fought? If you put another gun to your head,
damn, that's a lot of guns.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking guns.
Let me finish, dog. Let me finish.
Wrap it up because I want to hear his response.
Hold on. So, Spence has this great resume, right? Outside of the PBC guys and Crawford that he fought, okay, he lost against him, but I guess he fought him, right? Outside of them, I get it. Those were the guys who were in his way, blah, 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 blah. But outside of Crawford...
So what is the argument?
Okay. Outside of Crawford, can you mention somebody else that it can be a potentially Hall of Famer in Spence's resume?
As I said
like
earlier.
A first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, a Hall of Famer, period.
Yeah.
No, because that's different,
He was a 147 pounder.
Here's the thing. I give you the chance.
Let him answer
that. Just one more thing. Just to give you the chance, if what's his name made the to the Hall of Fame, if Timothy Bradley made it as a first ballot, I can give you like a maybe 15% chance that Spence will make it, but I don't really think he will make it as a first ballot.
Okay, well let him answer now. Let him answer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The point is, he's a 147 pounder. That's his weight. He's going to fight at 147, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the list of opponents at 147, that's who he fights. He fought and he beat them all outside of Crawford, and he did it in pretty much spectacular fashion.
No, that part's incorrect.
Make you Hall of Fame.
He fought a bunch of washed guys, bro. They were all washed.
You guys are not. You guys are not willing to give a guy credit for fighting guys.
None of those motherfuckers were prime.
That does not make sense.
I do give
none of them were prime, bro.
I do give
Hold on, one at a time. One at a time.
Let me finish
my piece. Let me finish my piece.
I'm trying to give you the piece, but I'm talking everybody else down.
Yeah, we're telling
people. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds.
Give me 1 second.
I don't know how to say your screen name, but Salidas, he has the floor. Bucho, if you want to time him, go ahead, but he has the floor to respond right now.
No, I agree. Go ahead, Chief. You're doing a good job.
How is that Spence's fault? These guys got bad baggage. They got issues, but that's in my weight class. I'm not going to jump to other weight class to fight other guys. I'm going to fight who's in my weight class. I fought him and beat him. Why does Spence get criticized? Why is he criticized for that? That doesn't make sense.
Okay, so that's the question. Who's going to get the response?
Wait. Look. I thought you guys. Wait, let me respond.
Yeah, let's FU. Go ahead, FU.
Okay, you said.
I thought you guys were talking about Crawford. Now you're talking about Spence. Which one is it?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Your mic is really hard to hear. Who's that?
I know. I have to yell. Go ahead.
He's the producer. So
all right. So you guys are talking about Spence or Crawford here?
Spence.
Technically both. Technically both, because
I think you know what?
Let me lay it down. This is what happened. We were kind of talking about both, and one of the guys that was talking said Crawford fought a bunch of cans, and so we went into basically both of their careers about the quality of the opposition. And so when I'm going to call you Solito with no disrespect to your name, but I can't really read that. Salidas. So Salidas kind of, Salidas kind of stayed on Spence, but the overall is about their fight. His point is he fought the best in his division, and and so now we're kind of rating those guys off of that. That's kind of where we're at on that conversation.
The best that was available.
But you always got this is one of the things. All right. This is one of the things I find interesting with these debates is a lot of times people just go by the name. You have to go about the time when they fought these guys, right? So I actually, in a lot of ways, I would give Spence more credit. I would say if you're going to say, because he just said that Crawford's a 147, right? I'd say that Spence had a better welterweight career than Crawford did, because Spence fought these guys when they were closer to their primes. Like the Porter that Spence fought was far better than the one that Crawford got. He also got a better version of Brook.
Yeah, I agree.
He was still a broken version of Brook, but he was a better Brook than the one that Crawford got. Crawford got all these guys on the way out. So let me just finish this.
Oh wait, FUTV still got the floor.
It has a.
Oh my God!
It's
dude, Brook.
It's not just the name; it's when you fight them.
Yeah,
it's more important. It's more important when you fight them. Because if he's going to fight them at the very end of their career, they really don't matter, and I consider him just the same as a can, like the guy said earlier. Can.
Okay, hold on, no. Asun's got the floor. Asun's got the floor. Asun's got the floor.
Yeah,
go.
Asun, go ahead.
Sorry, Asun.
Kell Brook was already broke. Kell Brook was broken when he fought Spence the first time anyway, because Gigi already broke him up. Two, like Errol, really, all the guys. Can you hear me?
Unmute him. You're muted. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I can hear him.
Oh,
I didn't mute anyone.
So the thing is, like Errol started at 154 anyway. So this is the thing. Like that was his original division. Two, like when he fought Kell Brook was already broken up. His face was already broken. Like Gigi already had busted him up. Everybody that Errol Spence fought, he fought a little Mikey Garcia, who came up 2 divisions. He fought an old Lamont Peterson. He fought, I'd say literally like Porter was always a B plus, a B minus fighter anyway. He was never nothing special. He was just like, he was a workhorse. Literally all the guys that Spence beat, literally they're not, it wasn't like Ugas, come on now. Ugas was another C fighter. All those guys, there's a reason why they didn't let him fight Manny, why Manny and Spence didn't fight. They still could have continued that. Like they hid Errol Spence, bro. They hid this man for years. They hid him from Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford was all wrong for him. Even though Terrence Crawford's his resume that is impressive. Either they're both both of their careers resemble each other somewhat. But fighting each other, they made the most money fighting each other, and they were each other's most credible opponent when they fought each other.
Okay,
it was never that good.
Let me piggyback off of that, and then I'm going to go back to Saludis. And I'm not wearing glasses, so I'm pronouncing y'all names the best I can. I'm on my phone, so I can't really. Y'all's writing's very small. So anyway, so what your comment about some of Spence's competition when what's his name? Pardon me. The guy you just mentioned, Brook. When Brook went up to fight Triple G a week before the fight, he had already said he may not come back down to 154 because he can't make the weight. So he was starved for weight on every major fight after the Triple G fight. So he was weight drained for everyone. End of that competition of where he was at the welterweight division. Like you said, Porter was an exciting fighter, but extremely limited and had no major wins over any welterweight. Mikey Garcia had just moved up from lightweight. Danny Garcia has 0 major wins over any welterweight of that era. So there's your quality of competition. Does that make them cans, as people were saying earlier? No. He may have fought the quote-unquote best of his era, but it's no question about the fact that it's an extremely weak era.
Yeah, but I thought y'all thought to say this. No, but you're not factoring this in. He didn't.
Well, let me wrap up. Let me wrap up real quick.
All right.
It's an undisputed fact. It was a weak era that he was sitting on top of until he finally did fight Crawford and he got exposed.
But look, that makes this shit even more sad. Is the fact that he fought the best of his era, which actually weren't very good in comparison to other eras. But not only were they not good fighters, but they weren't at their best. So he's fighting lower fighters that aren't amazing basically at the ends of their careers. So it's pretty pathetic. In my book, both these guys don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Both Spence and Crawford do not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so hold on. Salinas has been quiet for a minute. He's got the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how is that a knock on Crawford and Spence? The other guys are not stepping their game up to be on our level. We beat them. Shouldn't y'all criticize them instead of
So let me answer that part real quick. As the moderator,
hold on.
You've asked the question. You've asked the question more than once.
Criticize them.
You've already asked the question multiple times. You've already asked the question on this, and here's the answer to that. It's not necessarily a knock against them, but where you're going to be ranked in history based off of your weak level of your era will be ranked. And that is what we're talking, because this is actually about Hall of Fame and criteria. Right. I'm almost done. If you're on a really weak era of the welterweight division, there, especially that's the second most prestigious weight class in the history of boxing. More Hall of Famers from that weight class than any other outside of heavyweight. And you're in a really weak era. That can possibly justify the fact, no, you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, possibly shouldn't get it all, because the second most prestigious division you participated in was so weak that it doesn't really garner a whole lot of criteria, attention, or accomplishments. I'm done on that part. You guys debate that, what I just put out.
So what should Spence and Crawford have done then, since their competition is not up to standard? What should they have done?
Fought in a better era.
Yeah, fought in a better era. It's not their fault. It is what it is.
How does that make sense? How does that make sense? How do you make it sense?
Hold on. Not everybody gets in the Hall of Fame just because they win a lot of titles and stuff like that. If they're in a weak era, they're probably not going to get in. Life ain't fair, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that simple.
That's the thing.
So what's the point in somewhat slandering them that the whole time then? I don't think
no one's slandering them. I'm putting it in perspective.
Oh my God.
No one's slandering them. You're considering it slander because you're a fan. Hold on.
This is why. Hold up. This is why.
No. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Go ahead. But I got to rebuttal. Go ahead.
This is why when you judge boxers, you should put a lot of emphasis on how good they actually are, not who they fought. So shit like if this happens, you don't have to hear stupid shit like y'all saying. Oh, he fought in the week.
Let me. Okay, so
how can we
know how good he is? How can we know how good
he is? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm jumping in.
When you watch him fight, you see he's real good. When you watch him fight, you didn't think he was really good.
No, level of competition is really important in knowing how good you are.
Exactly.
But you said it's a weak era, so he can't prove it, right?
No, he can't.
Focus on how good the fighter is.
Stop. Hold on. Right? Let me jump in.
Focus on how good the fighter is.
Let me jump in. I got to make a point. because you're stuck on the. This is said with respect, and it's not supposed to offend. Take it objectively. You're a fan. I'm a historian, and I'm not talking down to you. But
damn.
I'm going to tell you straight up. There's very few people on the panel that know more about the history of boxing than I do. So you're looking at this from a fan's point of view. I'm looking at
you say that you talk just like BDA and Buto do. You say the same
that's
stupid
the same
shit.
as calling me the S word. He basically called me the S word. That's what he did.
I've been on this panel before, and I've heard silly shit from them too, similar to what you're saying. You're putting them down because they fought in the weak era.
I didn't put anybody down. I objectively noted.
I didn't call you the C word. C word.
You said no. I said you're putting. I don't give a fuck about that historian shit. I said you're putting Crawford and Spence down.
You should, because you're exposing yourself for being a fanboy. I was nice before, but now that you cross the line, you're just exposing yourself as a fanboy.
That's not important. That's not important. You're saying
the fact that you're a fanboy isn't important. You're clouding your view with your personal emotions. Your personal emotions connected to the fighters are clouding your judgment.
No, this does not make sense. This doesn't make sense.
It makes sense.
They're not Hall of Famers because they fought in the weak era.
You should put on some sad music. Put on some sad music.
Look, hey, this is meritocracy. It's a meritocracy.
This is a very special episode of BDA Boxing.
It's a meritocracy.
That's bullshit.
It's a meritocracy.
That conversation's bullshit. Who's a Hall of Famer right now? Nah, fuck that. That conversation, that's ridiculous. I'm not even going to do that.
It's not. You don't seem to understand. Boxing is a meritocracy.
Who is a Hall of Famer right now in your opinion? Who is a Hall of Famer right now in your opinion?
You're trying to say if someone fights in a weak era, but because they did well in that weak era, they should automatically go in the Hall of Fame. This is your mentality. This is what you're saying. That's exactly what.
Why would they not?
He needed a time machine.
They displayed great boxing skills. You can't.
I mean, but did he really?
Great boxing skills.
Listen,
okay, now I'm going to give you an example.
This dude was losing every round versus the Wash Brook. He's losing every round versus Wash Brook.
Let me put things in perspective when it comes to Hall of Fame. Let me put things in perspective. Let me put things in perspective. Let me put things in perspective. No, I'm going to put things in perspective.
You can go right after me. Let me say this first. First, the BDA guy lied to me and said Cruz was winning the tank fight before he got knocked out. Now some silly motherfucker on the panel just said Brook was losing to a.
He was. No. Brook was winning almost every round versus Crawford, and then he was dehydrated, which was half the time. Dude, he was knocked out on a jab. Bro, he was knocked out on a jab.
None of that has to do with what we're talking about.
That was not Brook.
None of that has to do. Zero. None of that has to do.
Y'all don't like nigga fight.
Yo, gotta talk one at a time. One at a time, bro.
We're gonna start muting. Come on.
One at a time. Later, your point is moving the goalpost to a different subject. We're not done with this one yet. If you fight in a weak weight class, that does not necessarily earn you into the Hall of Fame. Case closed. It's a meritocracy. You have to earn it. Is there a criteria? No. And I get where you're going with that. But let's just face it. Miguel Angel Gonzalez doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He had 10 title defenses and fought the best contenders in the WBC at the lightweight when he was there. But they were very abysmal opponents. Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame with 10 defenses? Most of Orlando Gonzalez is in with 16. So why isn't Miguel Angel Gonzalez?
You are the one saying they shouldn't be Hall of Fame?
No, I'm saying based off of your criteria of fighting the best in a weak era doesn't necessarily get you in. And the proof is in the pudding, because I just named someone that has a Hall of Fame accomplishment of 10 title defenses in one weight class. Many fighters have gotten in for less. Yet he's not in because he fought in a weak era. All right.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Inouye's a Hall of Famer when he's done retired? Inoue?
Yes.
The Mexican Japanese monster? He's a Hall of Famer?
Yes. Of course.
He's Mexican?
He should be.
No, I said Inoue. Japanese fighter.
Yeah, 4 divisions, fought the best of everybody.
Because I know he's trying to bait me with that punk ass Mexican versus black shit. I know he's trying to bait me for that, but I'm not gonna fall for that this time. So you think the Japanese monster is
So you're admitting you fell for it other times? Are you admitting you fell for it other times?
They're not even doing that.
I'm black. He did that.
He got you.
No, last time I was on here, he did that.
You fell for it, man. You fell for it.
You could do this.
You
Back to what I'm saying though. Do you think the Japanese monster is a Hall of Famer?
Well, he's got a long career. At the moment, he's looking like it. Yeah.
4 divisions.
He's
4 divisions, and then. Yes, 4 divisions. 4 divisions, bro. 4.
It's not just 4 divisions. It's not just 4 divisions. No. He fought when he won this title at 115. He fought the best 115 pounder that was there.
Absolutely.
So did Spence and Crawford, though. So did Spence and Crawford in their weight class.
Hold on. So since you're going to try and pull that, let me just go ahead and say this: Who in Spence and Crawford? Hold on. Who did Spence and Crawford fight that had 28 title defenses on their belt?
No. It ain't got to go that far. I'm just saying.
Oh, no. Because you're saying you want to try and start saying.
No. You're coming up with an unrealistic scenario, bro. It's not that deep.
You're comparing
in your weight class.
He's comparing, bro. He's not realistic.
I hate Crawford.
In your weight class. You fight the best that's in your weight class, right? Can you get credit for that? Yes or no? That's who's available. I'm gonna fight him. Fuck.
Well, okay. Does that mean you're the best of your era? I never said he wasn't. That part was never the debate. And he's not the best of his era because Crawford beat him. So he's not even the best of his era.
Not even Crawford.
The Japanese monster did the same thing, but he's a Hall of Famer. That's kind of questionable.
He did beat the best of his era. Spence didn't.
Outside of Stephen Fulton, like them other guys, they were good fighters, but I wouldn't say they were guys.
You don't know who they are. That's the problem. You don't know who they are. Again, historian versus fan. I know who they are. You don't.
I caught up on him late. I didn't catch his early career and mid career. I caught up on him late. I saw that.
We're in the world of the internet.
From the information I gathered, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't really pay too much attention to the smaller weight classes. I'll be honest. But I caught up on him late. And outside of the Fulton fight, I found out he fought guys in his weight class that were okay, let's fight, but not no guys that stood out like that. Very similar to Spence and Crawford, but Spence and Crawford's not Hall of Fame. So it's kind of unfair.
So in other words, the only way you know about Inoue is because he fought a black guy.
What one thing real quick?
You saying you like him big? Is that what you're saying?
FUTV, give me 1 second.
Would you agree?
Yes.
And all right. So the nail in the coffin on Spence is when he finally fought the absolute best in his weight class. He lost.
He lost. I said that.
He was never even the best in his weight class.
I never said he was the best. I said he's Hall of Fame material.
You did. You actually said that earlier. So now you're backtracking. Now that I've exposed that, you're backtracking. So
they got the playback. They got the playback. You can play it.
As an all-time welterweight, where do you have Spence? I got to hear this. As an all-time welterweight, where do you rank Spence?
That's
number 1.
Question.
All-time welterweight out of all the welterweights, put him in the top 25.
Number 2.
So I'll put him in the top 25.
Oh God.
The history of welterweights, I'll put him in the top 25.
Would you put him over Vernon Forrest?
Oh no.
That's a tough one. I'll give you that.
Would you put him over Shane Mosley?
Don't do it.
Nah, Shane Mosley.
Spence is a prelim fighter.
Would you put him over
Shane Mosley was that dude, though.
I'll put Vargas way ahead of fucking Spence, dude.
Okay, so hold on. No. I'm gonna really test the guy now.
Fucking Fernando Vargas is in the Hall of Fame. What the F?
Would you put him over Marlon Starling?
Spence?
Yeah.
He doesn't know who that is.
He doesn't know that.
He doesn't know.
Spence went 12 rounds with Mikey Garcia, bro. 12 rounds.
Spence is a prelim fighter. Spence is a prelim fighter in that era.
12, right?
Spence is a prelim fighter. Spence is a prelim fighter in the 90s.
I gotta knock everybody out to be considered good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're fighting a smaller guy, I think you should.
That's your philosophy. You guys be having some crazy ass unrealistic expectations.
Mikey Garcia was. Did you see the size difference? Did you see the size? Solidus, come on. Did you see the size difference? Come on, you saw it. You saw the size difference.
Okay, let me put this out there.
He told me that was too big of a weight gain for him. He told me that.
Bro.
Let me put this out there. Before we move on, let me put this out there, and Salito, I'll let you have a rebuttal.
Like he had a big ass head. I'll say that.
Okay, so basically what we're coming down to is we've exposed the fact that Spence was not the best in his weight class of his era.
No.
We don't even know if he can, if we put him above guys that were only one-time champions in other eras. as we just tried to rank him. And so when it comes down to it, it's not we have unrealistic expectations. You're overhyping a guy that didn't live up to the hype. He won hand-given titles that were arranged. Hold on, I'm almost done. He won hand-given titles that were arranged in-house through promotion. And then when he stepped up against a guy who he was supposed to walk through by all of the Spence fans, and I'm not saying everyone said that, I'm noticing the Spence fans were thinking it was a walkthrough, he got demolished. It wasn't even a competition. So when he finally
annihilated,
why he fought for that credit?
Annihilated.
Hold on,
he's getting knocked down.
Let me wrap up.
Let him finish, bro.
Y'all don't even like Crawford, so why give him that credit?
Let him finish, bro. Let him finish, bro.
You're saying that we come up with unrealistic expectations. He didn't live up to any. He just didn't. He was supposed to be this grand welterweight that was just the king of the division. He struggled with every title fight he had, including against naturally smaller men like Danny Garcia, and a lightweight put him against the ropes with a right hand, and Mikey Garcia. No other welterweight history. No other lightweight.
Are you serious?
You gotta let him finish his point, bro.
Crawford's an idiot.
Like every time I try and finish my point, it's like, are you serious? And then the unrealistic expectations. But I'm wondering what your expectations
struggled with Mikey Garcia. He struggled with Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia.
Did he stop Mikey Garcia?
You're not even listening.
Get your silly ass off the panel, bro.
Butcher, everybody's over talking, man.
I know you're not talking to me. You're not even listening to me.
Whoever said that bullshit, that's what I was talking.
You need to listen to Boxing Chief. He's in charge right now. All right.
I said he struggled against Danny, and he did. And I said he was put against the ropes with. What's so funny?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, I'm sorry. Are you forgetting the fact that Danny hit him with the right hand and turned him sideways?
Hey, you're talking. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Oh, now you're going to listen. Okay. Well, let me educate you then. Danny Garcia hit him with the right hand that turned him sideways. Danny Garcia is not a power punching welterweight. Danny Garcia
was a huge puncher, dude. Big puncher.
No, he was
not a welterweight. I don't think so.
Well, I guess.
So the point is the fact that I'm just sorry to break it to you. You're a fan, and you're speaking as a fan. You're bringing no real historical context other than the fact he was good in a weak division, and a weak division doesn't necessarily get you in the Hall of Fame. And your feelings are hurt over that. And none of us care.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And Crawford's retarded. He really is. Because why are you going to say that? Let me say this. This is what Crawford should have said. That motherfucker Spence, he's in the Hall of Fame. He should have been put in there about 3 times. That guy's real good. You know, because it makes Crawford look even better, right? It doesn't make him look too good when he says, this guy doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Then why do we give a shit about your Then why do we give a shit about your win then versus him? Why?
Hey, check this out. You want to hear something retarded?
Wait. I'm checking it out.
Let him go.
You want to hear?
Let me hear it.
You want to hear something retarded?
Show it to me.
Every time you open your mouth, bro. Every time you open your mouth, we hear something retarded, bro. But go ahead.
Hey, you want to hear something retarded?
Show me the money.
Let him go.
Go ahead. Act like usual. Go ahead.
Show me the money.
A fighter. Now, if y'all disagree with this, I know y'all cap. A fighter telling you that you don't want to fight a certain fighter because he's not in his weight class, but yet he's making plans to fight a guy that's also not in his weight class. Is that retarded, yes or no?
I need more context than that.
It is.
They know who I'm talking about.
They
know who I'm talking about.
But yeah.
His dick's in your mouth, so y'all don't want to say it. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
No, I literally don't know what you're talking about.
Bruh, it looks like his dick is in your mouth. You can't even say his name, but you want to talk about him. What are you talking about, bro? Be direct. Be a man. Be a man, bro. Be direct.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Y'all, no, I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I was trying to not bring his name up.
Hurry up and say it.
You don't like to say his name in vain?
Always bring his name up. Go ahead.
Canelo. He says he don't want to fight him and beat us.
He said it. He said the name.
He's making plans.
Let him finish.
But yeah, he's making plans to fight a guy that's not in his weight class. Is that retarded?
What are you talking about? You know, come on, man.
You make plans to fight a guy that's not in your weight class, but you don't want to fight another guy because you're not in your weight class. That's not retarded.
I mean, Crawford made those plans. He's the one that wants to go out for a payday.
No.
He wants to go out for that payday.
He agreed to fight a guy. He agreed to fight a guy that's not in his weight class. But
Canelo didn't call out Crawford. He never called out Crawford.
Hold on. So let me respond. Let me respond. Hold on. Let me respond to him real quick.
Look, a bunch of Mexicans are going to get very
Look, hold on. Hey, Food TV. Let me respond to this fool. Hey, look, Solidus. Look, Solidus. Look. You really are harping on, you crying about this fight every time you come on here. The truth of the matter is, because you tried to make this point before that Canelo should have turned the fight down. He turned the fight down multiple times, right? Crawford's been begging for this fight. And the only reason that this fight's happening is because Turkey got us. Let me finish what I'm saying, bro. So the only reason that this fight is happening, let me finish, bro. So look, the only reason this fight is happening is because the Turkey got involved with his wallet. We don't even know how much the price tag for this fight is. Right? Canelo said he doesn't want to fight Crawford. I'm not going to get credit. He's too small. Blah, blah, blah. Crawford went to his new daddy, Turkey, and he got him to foot the bill for this fight. And that's why you're getting it. And that's the truth.
Now, me and you, now check this out. Me and you actually agree on that. Let me respond to that.
I agree with him.
Now, I actually, because me and this guy, we argue all the time. This little young motherfucker that was just talking. We always argue. But I actually agree with that. I'm not even mad at what he just said. But let me
pretty
respond.
angry about it.
Benavidez, he's been begging to fight Canelo for 3 years too. Canelo knows that they were at 168. Why he didn't fight him?
Bro, you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because Canelo.
Hold on. Very easily.
Let me say.
Hold on. I'll tell you. It's quick. Look, the reason why is because the Turkey's not getting involved with his wallet. That's why.
Let me tell you why. Wait. I want to say it. Let me say it.
Let me get it to young boy.
Let me say it. Let me fucking say it. It's one word. It's quick. Glock. Easy money. Easy.
Evie, that's 2 words.
I mean, it's more than one word.
Let me shop it with the young.
Easy payday.
The young.
So look, Turkey wants to pay. Turkey wants to pay for Crawford versus Canelo. He does not want to pay for Crawford versus Benavidez. He doesn't even want to pay for Bivol versus Benavidez. So
Turkey, he got basted a bunch by Crawford, but he's finished with that now.
The thing is, there were 3 years he was at his weight class calling Canelo a bitch, talking shit about him. When have you ever seen a Mexican not accept the challenge? And he didn't do it. But he's willing to fight a guy that's weight classes down. That's some bitch shit. You got to be honest. I know y'all love Canelo.
Let me be honest. All right, Salito.
Hey, Solidus, define prize fighter.
Solidus.
Define prize fighter.
Hey,
can you at least
sober. Let me ask Solidus a question, all right? I do have a question on this whole thing, and I'm more of a fan of Benavidez than I am Canelo. So let me put this in perspective. Okay? I'm really not a fan of Canelo at all. When did Benavidez ever try to flex his mandatory status to get a shot at Canelo during those 3 years?
None.
All the time when he asked for it. All the time when he asked for the fight.
He was contacted. Was he interested in fighting Canelo prior to Canelo signing up to fight Munguia, and Benavidez accepted, and then he didn't hear nothing back. And he's done.
How do you flex? How does he flex? How do you flex? Like, what does that mean?
He's done. Hold on. Let me get this off.
Okay, because you're not answering my question, so go ahead.
15 interviews where he said he wants to fight him. He's hearing this. Why don't he just fight him? Yeah. But Crawford is begging you, and you're cool with fighting him. Crawford begs him. He'll accept that.
What do you mean by flex?
Again, back to my.
What do you mean by flex?
Hold on.
What do you mean by flex? What do you mean?
I asked the question.
Your question's loaded. What do you mean by flex? His mandatory status. What does that mean? Is there a rule? Show me the rule in WBC rules about flexing mandatory status.
Okay,
go
so you
show
want to
me.
break down the semantics of the English language? Let me break
I want to
down.
go by the WBC rule book. I don't know what the fuck you want to go by.
Mirage, shut up.
Question.
I'm waiting for an answer.
Yeah. Oh, Mirage. Yeah. Okay. I know exactly.
Don't duck. Answer. Yeah.
Mirage,
Crickets.
Stop talking over him so I can actually ask the question. Go ahead. Mirage, you got the floor.
Yeah. Define what flexing mandatory status means and show me in a WBC rule book about the flexing mandatory status rules. I must have missed it.
Now, I've got the floor now, right? You're not going to talk over me? Good. Okay, so when the word flex was just a slang word to use, so he did not implement, he did not test, he did not request, he did not push. I don't care what word you want to use. What did he do to try and activate? There's another word for you. Any of the ones you want to choose. When did he do it?
Well, a lot of those words have different meanings. He was going around for 3 years on every interview saying, "I want to fight Canelo." Does that qualify as like pressuring WBC, flexing? Does that qualify?
Apparently, it doesn't because it didn't happen. So,
or maybe WBC don't give a shit and they do what they want.
Being number one contender doesn't make you a mandatory. You have to exercise your right as mandatory to have the governing body force the title holder to say, this is your next opponent, or else you have to give up the title. And Benavidez never did that. That's not loaded.
No. What you said is bullshit.
He was mandatory.
He was mandatory. And all a mandatory can do is pick up the phone and say, "Hey, can I please fight Canelo?" That's all he can do.
No.
Can say, thanks for that. It's up to
there's
us
actually a procedure where you can actually
that's not how it works.
Activate.
Sure. Use the word activate.
Show me that rule in WBC.
I'm going to use the word flex just to piss you off. But
show me that rule, the WBC rules, and I'll ship you $100. Show me that rule. I'm on the record. I'll give you $100. You show me the rule where the fighter can activate the WBC mandatory. Show me in the rule book. $100. It's all yours.
I'll put 100 on the shoe.
So you're trying to say that just being number one contender makes you the?
I'm trying to say, show me the rule and you get $100.
I don't give a shit about your $100. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter.
How about $500?
You don't even have that, Mirage. Be quiet.
Well, first of all, minus my language, he obviously doesn't know me because he knows I don't. Everybody else knows I don't gamble, so I don't care about the money. I know the fact that if you're sitting at number one contender and not getting a title shot, you have the legal right to activate, push, flex. And I'm going to
show me the law. Show me the law. Where's it written?
That's how it works. Let me show you the law. That's how it works. When it comes to the sanctioning bodies,
the
law written down.
Hey, what happened to Dylan White when he tried to flex? He had to take him to court to sue him, and he still didn't even get the fight. He had to wait 2 years.
That's what Benavidez should have done.
When they finally gave him the fight.
That's what Benavidez should have done.
You can't flex. So you can't flex.
Canelo said it.
What do you mean? Take him to court?
I feel like I've done enough.
I've got the floor. I have the floor. Mirage.
I need the floor.
No, I've got the floor. I've got it.
I got it. I want it.
I got it.
Somebody can have it.
I'm going to give it to Mirage. I'm giving the floor to Mirage.
We're going to have to mute.
Mirage.
You can have the floor. You can have it. It's yours.
Mirage. You just said Dillian White actually went and tried to make that happen. You just admitted yourself he went to the sanctioning body to actually flex to get it done. Guess what? It may not have worked, but he actually did the action. Benavidez did not.
Yeah, he did.
End of story. You're done.
Okay.
And by the way,
the reason he went to court because he didn't have any authority to fucking flex and activate. He had to take him to court, which is outside of the WBC rules, boxing. He sued him in court.
Sounds like you're saying that he actually took legislative action to try and put himself in the place that he already deserved to be.
So David should have sued the WBC.
Yeah, he should have sued the WBC. How's that, Mirage? He should have. He didn't.
Going back to
you're making it worse for yourself. So he wasn't pushing in. And by the way, I don't know.
He had to pay court expenses for losing.
He doesn't have money. Now he's poor. Come on. Right now, so yeah, he should have done that. He could have done that. He didn't want to.
Because it's pointless.
Your point's weak, Mirage. That's all
it's pointless. So what? So why?
We argue all the time when it gets fucking
yeah. Okay. When I'm exposed by Mirage, then I'll actually hang my head.
I mean, he's ridiculous.
I'm not. Yeah.
You turned down $500 to prove your point.
He didn't do exactly what you said Dillian White did. You're actually proving my point.
Yeah,
because taking him to court
and don't even know
is idiotic. Suing them is idiotic and counterproductive, and it didn't even work. Dylan White had to pay like $1 million. He had to pay like $1 million.
Did White not fight Tyson Fury for the belt? Yes, he did.
And
2 years later,
$2
when WBC decided, had nothing to do with
the funny
it.
thing is, on top of that, he made more money than they had to pay out.
Did you guys? All right, let's move on because did you guys see the interview with Fight Hub TV did with Lukowitz? I call him Lukowitz.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like basically Lukowitz saying that Benavidez will fight only in the U.S. now. Apparently, Benavidez.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
David's
sounds like
time Vegas pay-per-view fight. He's big time.
No, he's not.
He has that authority.
That's an excuse.
People should come over and be thankful. He should be thankful. David's going to put him under the limelight of Vegas.
He's avoiding beef. The money's in Saudi Arabia, Mirage. The money's in Saudi Arabia, not in Las Vegas. It's the Sheik's paying for this. He has the money. If you want to Saudi,
Mucho.
What are those big pay-per-view numbers?
So look, the WBC screwed him over with Canelo, right? But now he's only a WBC fighter and he loves them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's
I'm waiting for that offer from the Sheik.
Which, by the way, he actually wrote a letter. He actually wrote a letter to the WBC to move up to light heavyweight, but he can't write a letter to activate his mandatory.
It's pointless. It's useless. It's pointless. It's useless.
Has Turkey sent David an offer yet? Did I miss the news? Where's that big money offer?
Why is
Turkey? His Excellency, His Highness.
Hey, Mirage, why is Benavidez still with the WBC if he they never gave him a title shot or anything?
What's wrong with WBC? They put him on pay-per-view, man. He's big time Vegas.
WBC doesn't put anybody on pay-per-view. Your promoters.
What's wrong with them?
These guys are jokes. What's wrong with the WBC? Hey guys, what's wrong with the WBC?
You should go to Fast Eddie.
This guy's complaining about the WBC not giving Benavidez a title shot when it came to Canelo, and now what's wrong with the WBC? Man, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
It's the only belt. To me, it doesn't matter. Canelo didn't want the fight. I didn't even go into all this. I mean, he said it from his own mouth. He said I'd done enough. That was it. He said he don't want to do business with him.
Yeah, I think you know what? And I realized Canelo was dealing with Lukowitz and all those fucking liars, all those fucking guys.
Canelo's done with challengers. This is why he's fighting.
These guys are shady as fuck. I don't know why people don't realize this. The whole Benavidez is shady as fuck. You can clearly see that with that interview with Fight Club TV. Lukowitz is insane. And then he's saying, we have to have the fight in Las Vegas. I saw those fights in Saudi Arabia. The crowd is not screaming.
He's done with...
He starts focusing
on
the crowd.
Done with,
hold on, let me finish.
You're getting emotional.
Canelo's done with legacy. He's done with legacy.
Lukowitz is talking about the crowd not screaming in Saudi Arabia. That's some factor as to why they don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. It's not about the money. It's about
the only person that screams over there is Crawford when he's in Turkey.
It's ridiculous, guys. These people, Lukowitz.
I don't even want to talk about Bucha.
They're a bunch of weirdos.
I don't even want to talk about Canelo. Canelo's irrelevant. Nobody cares about his William Skull fight.
Well, you keep talking
about Skull. He's basically like a glorified exhibition.
Wait, you're trying to downplay Skull?
I will say this about Canelo. Like right about now, like he is cashing it in. Like everything's a money grab at this point for Canelo. Like Canelo's the man. He does what he wants. He said it himself. He said like.
I mean, Canelo,
the highlight of the year is going to be Canelo fighting a 38-year-old.
I do what I like. I do what I like.
Damn right. I do what I like.
I'm the one.
Canelo will fool Benavidez like he's doing the kid.
I don't even know why.
And he's going to make more money than Floyd. He's going to make more money than Floyd.
One Darrell, Anthony Darrell.
Oh wow! Anyways, it's funny how Benavidez is now in love with the WBC, and they're trying to grab take that belt away from Bivol.
I just want to know: is Bivol going to get in the ring, or is he going to drop that belt?
No,
is he going to be man enough to face his nemesis? His nemesis who beat him up in sparring when he was 21 years old.
That's the real question.
Can he face his nightmare?
I'm not fighting unless it's in Vegas.
That's what I want to see. I want to see that.
Will he face it?
He's scared to go overseas.
That is the real question.
Or is he going to go fight the guy he already defeated, some 40-year-old man with knee braces, who's going to fight a young lion, a young monster in his prime? What are you going to do, Bivol? The clock is ticking, Bivol. The clock is ticking.
He's talking about Baturbi, of a guy that freaking Benavidez would get knocked the fuck out.
A broken down 40-year-old man. Stop hyping him up. He lost his last fight.
Baturbi would knock his ass out.
Everybody woulda, coulda, shoulda done everything to David, but they don't get in that fucking ring to prove it. You notice that? Canelo would have folded him with a body shot like a lawn chair. Bivol's going to box his ears off. Okay.
I think Mirage is confusing. He's confusing Benavidez. You know what they were saying? The monster, and then he goes against Vosdick. Basically, I mean, he can't even hurt that guy. The guy's 37,
beast, man. That guy's still one of the top
Morel
fighters in the division.
I
don't know why.
Giant motherfucker.
Hey, Bucho though.
12
Bucho though. Bucho.
Bosnick a big guy.
Canelo couldn't hurt Bivol though.
He's big. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, well, who can hurt Bivol?
Big
Who
guy.
can hurt? The last time I checked, he never lost.
Hey, he was a big guy.
Last time I checked, I ain't never seen nobody hurt.
The 37-year-old big guy. Who's coming
Oh,
up
he's been dropped before.
I mean, the monster.
Benavidez did get hurt.
Canelo's going to have his hands full with William Skull, in my opinion. He needs to get past William Skull. That's not going to be an easy fight.
Did Vosik retire now?
He might have.
He was old. Well, then, anyway,
hey, Bivol's manager mentioned
I've seen a monster at 175. And
hey, Bucho, Bivol's manager yesterday said Bivol's interested in 168 Canelo. He said he's interested. Do you reckon Canelo will take the fight?
I don't know.
I'll take that fight.
Who are you talking about?
No, Bivol's manager said Bivol's interested in fighting Canelo at 168. He's still interested in that.
Could be.
That's precisely why he.
There's money involved.
That's precisely why
he got beer beef ahead of him still. So
yeah, probably.
That's precisely
why he'll get him. I think he'll get him after that third fight.
If he wins.
That's precisely why he doesn't want to fight Benavidez. There's more money with Bivol and Archer.
But
I think.
Look. Turkey's going to give this guy a shit ton of money.
Got some more belts involved too.
It doesn't matter. Apparently. Oh, I'm talking about Benavidez. I don't know. Apparently, they don't want to deal with the Sheik. They don't care how much money there is because apparently the crowd over there doesn't scream and yell and all that shit. And so what they want.
He's on the PBC diet. Benavidez is leftovers of other fighters, and that's what he's going to do.
The plan is to grab that WBC belt, snatch it away from the Bivol, and then just hold that WBC belt. And you know what they want to do? They want to do the same thing. They want to do the same thing. They want to do the same thing they did with the super middleweight division. Just stay on the sidelines and now have a belt with them, and then that's it. And just wait for a big payday. Wait for a big payday.
Bivol can just fight him. Bivol can just fight him.
Yeah, they can fight Saudi Arabia what the money is, but Lukowicz doesn't want to deal with them. He's like, no, it has to happen here in Las Vegas.
Bivol's obviously the A side compared to Benavidez. He's the undisputed champion.
How's Bivol the A side, man? He's a nobody. He draws no crowds. There's no fan base.
It doesn't matter at this point. The money
he's got no fan base. He's got no fan base.
It doesn't matter if they're
neither does Benavidez.
It doesn't matter, Mirage. Listen. You don't understand. The one that's providing the money is the Sheik. Whether there's a fan base for Bivol or not, the Sheik is the one putting down the fucking money, and he wants to fight in Saudi Arabia. Then the fight should happen over there. The money's over there.
Okay. If the Sheik offers David $10 million to fight in Saudi Arabia, I would support David. You go over there, beat up Bivol, and take it. But I don't think he's offered that money yet. I don't think that the Sheik wants that. He said
apparently. More than
he wants his boy Beterbiev and Bivol. I don't think he wants David in there.
Well, not anymore. Apparently, he dealt with the Lukowicz and all that crazy.
Maybe the Sheik's worried David will beat up Bivol and take those belts. Maybe that's what the Sheik's really worried about.
There's a pattern here. Canelo, there's a pattern here. Canelo had to deal with these crazy people, and he's like, "Fuck that! We're not gonna do the fight." And now the Sheik is doing the same thing. He tried to make a fight, and then he realized these people are insane. Again, the crowd.
There is a pattern. They don't want to smoke. They don't want to smoke. That's the pattern.
No,
you got it
right there.
They
have demands. They're delusional. They're doing some money laundering.
The pattern is it's so complicated. When David's the mandatory, you notice it's so complicated. There's this, there's that, there's 100 excuses. But when it's like John Ryder, Linton Arthur, it's so easy. They make that fight. You snap your fingers, the fight happens. You notice that? Interesting.
Yeah, they don't ask for TV rights or anything like that. It's crazy.
These guys are with the PBC.
That's what Bucho said.
The fact that they're still with the PBC, it's a red flag. Go ahead, Ason.
Yeah, the reason why they're setting up so much smoke screens because they really don't want the smoke. If they really wanted it, they'll just go and do it. You know, like I said, Canelo gave this guy a chance. Like Benavidez and his whole camp, they're a bunch of clowns, man. They're a bunch of clowns.
They just want that belt, a free belt, and they think that we're gonna have Benavidez with one belt. We're gonna put him on the sidelines, and then we're gonna hope and wait for a big ass fucking fight. That's their plan.
So, Butcher,
it's David's fault. Yeah, if Bivol drops the belt, it's David's fault. That's the narrative.
What belt?
Right.
I do have a question. So if Bivol drops the belt,
David force an opponent to drop his belt? Outrageous.
Okay. So anyway, the question I was going to ask was if Bivol drops the belt and David picks it up, Bucho, do you think that David's going to blow the cocaine or is wait first?
Exactly. Yeah, one of those.
I mean, what's wrong? What's wrong with a little cocaine? Come on.
Because those two reasons right there are why he was never in the mix of super middleweight. Because as a champion, he didn't do his job.
Imagine if David dropped the belt to avoid a champion. I wonder what you guys would be saying.
Oh, he did. He dropped it to avoid Caleb Plant when he was a champion.
He did it on purpose.
He fought Caleb.
You're delusional.
He fucking went to the refrigerator, went to me for that special pizza.
I mean, but he beat the shit out of Caleb Plant.
Yeah, when he wasn't a champ.
He ducked the fighter he beat the shit out of. That's the best they got.
Yeah, you said when he ducked a champion. Was Caleb Plant a champion, Mirage, or do you not listen to your own words?
He does.
I don't listen to your words because you talk.
Pretty sure it's the
dribble.
latter.
No, that's his biggest win, and he came out.
It's the latter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the latter.
Yeah.
When did he duck a fighter to not fight a champion? Yeah, Caleb Plant was a champion when he lost the belt on the scale. And then he fights him when he's the leftover of Canelo. And what's Caleb Plant done since then?
Yeah, most fighters are.
Do you guys get into like big groups
we're gonna,
and like,
that's
like
weird.
organize these narratives and create these narratives? Do you guys all work together, collaborate? Because you always repeat the same.
Well, we know Benavidez fans don't get into big groups because there's only 5 of them.
Amazing.
That's ironic.
I just noticed that you haven't really brought anything on how Benavidez is like blue weight, blue cocaine, never flexed his mandatory status, and yet he's just this innocent victim.
He flexed it when he had to move up in weight.
Because that's ancient history. That's all ancient history.
All right,
I don't know why you're talking about.
We're going to continue talking about Canelo Benavidez. We always do this shit, and we get stuck.
Let's move on.
People get bored.
It's everything.
Move on.
Joe, I find it.
The super fight is a Crawford fight. Everyone knows that.
We were just talking about, but now that I actually call him out on it, and I put all these different things in a row on how he didn't do all of his due diligence as a contender to try and be the mandatory.
All the things you made up, I already destroyed you, and you want some more. You know, I mean, just give up while you're behind.
We're gonna move on, guys. Let's talk about the heavyweight division. Alexander Usyk. Apparently, Alexander Usyk.
You did what?
Chief, ignore the guy.
Because you asked for an actual you asked for an actual chapter in a rule book when you know the fact in order to
He's getting emotional because you got destroyed.
Let's move on. I said move on, so we're moving on.
Yeah, ignore the one
talks about Benavidez and fucking Bevo.
Mute him, Bucho, mute him.
Shut your fucking mouth, man. Jesus Christ.
I don't get muted on this panel. My
All right,
friend.
let's move on. All right, let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I missed the whole thing.
This guy's above the law.
I said we're gonna move on. Sorry, you're talking over me, man. What the fuck? All right.
Yeah, who's Usyk fighting, Bucho? Who's he fighting?
Okay, yeah, here we go. So Usyk has two options. Usyk has two fucking options. It's Joseph Parker, who's a WBO mandatory, or Dubois. But now Dubois has a mandatory himself, which is Derek Chisora. So there's a whole fucking conflict here. And Frank Warren.
And Parker.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Usyk and Parker. That's the fight that I've always.
You're breaking up. I couldn't hear what the fuck you said.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Frank Warren, Frank Warren has Parker and Dubois under his promotional company, and he wants Dubois to fight Usyk, but Joseph Parker is pushing for the WBO mandatory position. So we're gonna see what the fuck happens here.
I think Joseph Parker. I think Parker can give Usyk his toughest fight.
That's a good fight
because unlike those other lumbering giants. He's actually got mobility and speed. I'd love to see Usyk up again. Yeah, and skill. Yeah, more boxing skill. Although, I mean, Fury can box, but yeah, just the package. I'd love to see him defeat Parker. That'll be a significant victory, in my opinion. He should fight him.
That's the fight I've always wanted to see Usyk take at heavyweight is Usyk and Parker. That's a dude that can match him in a lot of different areas. It's really going to come down to IQ and fight.
Nobody
wants
already
to see defeated the lumbering giants.
Nobody interested in the Dubois rematch. Apparently, they could sell out Wembley Stadium. They say.
After that,
I mean that could be interesting.
No, how come Dubois is not fighting Parker and he's fighting Chisora?
That's what I was thinking. Like, why isn't he fighting Parker? Because they think he's gonna fucking lose. That's why.
Well, Dubois wants the Usyk fight, guys. Dubois says he wants, but the IBF is saying, well, you have a mandatory against Derek Chisora, and they said, but then the IBF also said that you can have an exemption if you're unifying. So they can, if Dubois fights Usyk, the IBF might be like, okay, we're gonna let you fight because it's a unification fight.
Oh God.
So it's a mess. It's a fucking mess.
So Dubois is fighting the number 2 contender. Got it.
No, he's fighting Derek Chisora, the number 1 contender.
Well, according to
wait. What? How is he the number one contender?
Yeah, that's what it says. He's a mandatory.
Because he's easier fights in Parker. That's
so
why.
unless something changed, hold on. Unless something changed since March 10th, the number one spot's vacant.
Okay.
Updated rankings.
Who the freak is Chisora rated over? Who the freak is Chisora rated over? Because I guarantee they're probably better than he is.
Chief is explaining it, guys.
Jagba,
Jesus
Frank
fucking Christ.
Sanchez, Joshua.
How the hell is Chisora rated above those guys?
I don't know. I'm just reading the rankings.
Joe Joyce and Wallen, that's what makes him rated over those guys?
I'm just reading the rankings, my friend. I'm just reading the rankings.
I know. I'm just asking. Like, that's crazy. And the IBF is going to pull some bullshit and say, you'll get your title stripped if you don't fight fucking Derek Chisora, a guy with like 12 losses.
Like I said, unless anything's changed since March 10th, is not even the number one contender.
Oh, you know what's going to happen, guys? Dubois going to fight Usyk, and then Chisora is going to fight Joseph Parker. I don't know.
Is Otto Wallen on that list, Chief? The IBF list? Is he on there?
Otto Wallen?
Yeah.
No. Oh, dropped out this month.
So Chisora beats a guy who dropped out, and that makes him the number one ranked guy. The IBF doesn't make any sense.
No.
Unless that win is the reason why he dropped out. I don't know. But Joseph Parker also dropped out. But I think that's because he became the interim champ at WBO.
Well, that's a mess.
So,
what else? Brian Norman Jr. How good is this guy, guys?
He's a duck.
Pretty good.
Brian Norman Jr. is a duck. He's a ducker, bro.
Really?
Hey, Recognize. How you doing?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Recognize? What's up?
Yo, when I realized that he turned down over $1 million for his next fight, what, 300K? That's when I said, all right, you know what? Rare Breed might be right about something finally. That's a duck.
He's trying to sell his belt to the highest bidder.
Right.
Well, he's fighting Derek Cuevas. When is that fight? That's this week. Yeah, that's the only.
He's fighting a Puerto Rican.
Right, Puerto Rican Derek Cuevas, 27-1 with 19 stoppages. That fight happening in Georgia. No. Sorry. Norman Jr. He's from Georgia, actually. And the one's Puerto Rican.
I didn't like the way you said that.
I like Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican?
I didn't like the way you said that. You said that in a weird way.
Yeah, I like the way you said Puerto Rican.
Well, you know, I dislike Puerto Rican.
Sounded a little
racist.
Damn.
I discriminate.
You know what I think about, Bucho, is that story you told me when you was at that bar and that black guy went crazy when they announced the win for Trinidad over De La Hoya.
I was some Haitian. Yeah, he was. So De La Hoya, Trinidad, the fight ends. We all know fucking De La Hoya should have won, right? So this guy's like, he's pissed. Yeah, he's all pissed off. Then he goes to the bathroom, and then they announce from Puerto Rico, and then you just hear the guy in the bathroom yelling, "Yeah!" fucking screaming and shit, jumping.
Wait, are you sure that wasn't recognized?
Hey, Bucho, he probably pissed all over himself, bro. Screaming.
Yeah, he probably pissed all over himself.
Wait, are you sure that wasn't recognized that did that? He went to the bathroom and came out.
That was his reaction.
I was in Canada.
Usually what I do.
That was a wild night.
And then I found out who that guy was, and he ended up in jail for something, I think.
I was in
That's what happens when you support Trinidad. Let's see, what else? What else? I don't know. I wrote a bunch of shit here. We have Cepeda, I keep calling him Tarver. Cepeda against Farmer, the rematch.
Right.
What do you guys expect out of that? Do you expect some improvement from Cepeda or just a similar fight?
Similar fight. Maybe minus.
I need Cepeda to stop him.
I mean, he needs to fucking stop this guy.
He might.
How old is Farmer in this fight? How old is he now?
Good question.
Oh, he's 34, I think.
34.
So he's not really old. But yeah, Cepeda needs to show that this guy's not supposed to be in the ring with him, and that was a fluke. He needs to stop him, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was talking about this shit the other day with these guys.
Cepeda needs to stop ducking.
He could stop him, because Tevin Farmer, okay, what's his game plan? He's gonna try to knock out Cepeda, or is he gonna try to do the same thing he did last time? because I don't know how well that'll work for him. He might get stopped if it's similar as last fight, because he did have success, but he was taking a beating getting there. You know, he got a knockdown, but Zepeda was hitting him every fucking chance he could, and he was landing a lot of shots on him.
Mm-hmm.
So Farmer had to go through hell to get a close fight. So can he do that again? Does he have to can he take a beating like that again?
Clinching. Mr. BDA made a good video showing the amount of clinching that Terran Farmer was doing. So maybe that fight's going to be different with a different referee who implements the fucking rules. So that could be a factor.
But you know,
and they're going to be in Mexico, right? They're going to fight in Mexico, and it's going to be a smaller ring.
But don't pure boxers
I didn't know the fight was.
But don't pure boxers. But when pure boxers get a little bit older, like they sit on their punches a little bit more, like Lara and all those other guys, because Seven usually kind of boxed on the outside, and I think maybe he switched it up a little bit,
He did a good job. He did a good job. I didn't like the clinching, but Terran Farmer showed us that he can actually stand his ground. I don't know why he didn't do that before, because that could have helped his fucking career. Because I got boring.
When he gets the clinch, Zepeda's got to work his way out of the clinch. He's got to let those hands go. Like he's got to get better at fighting out.
Yeah, he needs to dig more into the body. The body work was good. He should continue doing that. And then he throws a jab, and then he drops the jab after he throws. It's annoying. That's why he was getting caught. So he made a bunch of mistakes that hopefully he can correct and show us that.
Hey, you guys rate Zepeda? You guys big fans of Zepeda?
I like Zepeda. Yep.
It's fun to watch. I'm not sure how good he is.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys have seen he's almost 20. He's almost 20. He's almost 29. He's been a pro for 10 years. 29 years old. He's never even fought for a title, let alone won.
Yeah,
never even fought for a title. 10 years as a pro. He can't even pick up a raggedy, vacant belt. Can't even pick that up.
I don't know what happened to his career, man. I don't know why. I agree that.
Well, he's ducking Shakur. It's clear he's ducking Shakur.
We'll see after this fight if he's ducking Shakur.
His wife's having a baby. He can't fight. Then he fights straight away. I mean, this guy's not going to fight Shakur.
Well, listen. Let's wait and see what happens tomorrow. If he performs better than the last time, if not, then maybe he's not that good. Maybe he's not the real deal.
We're breaking down the fight, Mirage. We don't break down people we like. We just talk boxing.
Who do you think would have won with him and Tank back in the day?
Who and Tank?
Who?
Farmer.
I think Farmer would have beat him.
No, I think
maybe. Listen,
Davis
he's tough.
If Lamar Roach could do it, hey, Farmer could do it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Davis has gotten worse since then, in my opinion, because of his weak level competition. I think that Farmer fight would have did amazing for his career, especially I think that would have been for a belt. And also $7 million. The Zone was just giving away money to guys just to fight on their network at that time. They should have took it. I think he would have won that fight, in my opinion.
The only thing I have to say about that on who I think would have won isn't picking a winner. It's the fact there's a reason why Mayweather didn't get Tank in the ring with him.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not saying that he would have lost by any means, shape, or form. There was a reason why Floyd didn't think he was ready for a fight like that against a light punching guy that had already been defeated a couple times. And they just didn't want that for one reason or another.
But Chief, when you say $7 million is worth the risk?
Oh, hell, especially at that stage of his career. Yeah. Well, first of all, other than the Ryan Garcia fight in regards to Tank, when has he ever been guaranteed over that amount of money?
Never.
Guaranteed.
Time. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and it was only Ryan, and it was Ryan the reason why he got guaranteed that much money, because Ryan bought the fans in for that fight to be so successful. So since and so before and since, he's never been offered that much money. So yeah, that was, and at that level of their careers, when they were both still kind of like up and coming unknowns, it's stupid not to take that fight. $7 mil?
Yeah.
$7 mil was Ray Leonard money back in the 80s, and today it's still a huge payday.
Oh,
That's why his credibility right now is in the toilet, because Davis he ducked all the best fights, even like the good fights that would do good for his bank account when he's supposed to be this big money fighter. Well, you ducked all the big money fights, so that doesn't even make any sense.
Do you guys think Davis is jealous or feels like he might have to be in a hurry when he sees what's happening with that fight in New York? What's it called? The Ryan Garcia, the triple header.
Oh, he's definitely gonna be looking on with envy. He's gonna be tweeting, hating on it. Ain't there even that many people there, man?
He's gonna be tweeting.
Well, from what I heard,
These fights are ass. These fights are ass.
They're predicting there's going to be over 500,000 people there.
No way, man.
Yep, that's what I heard. Prediction 500,000 over.
Let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and say that 30,000. Let's just go ahead and say
it's a free fight card in the middle of Times Square. You don't think that's going to be fucking packed? It's going to be disgusting.
Why ain't they fighting anymore?
It's gonna be.
There's going to be so many people there. It's going to be fucking insane.
Hey, Recognize, don't let Recognize go in there. He's gonna try to start another riot like Golada really both.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he's
fucking psycho.
That wasn't my fault.
Salute to the Bronx veterans.
And technically, the fight that I had was outside, not inside. Anyway,
right.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear. You guys didn't hear. Recognize is going to be doing a halftime performance before the main event. You guys didn't hear that?
Salute to the Bronx
Can
veterans.
you even fit in 500,000 people in Times Square? Like the size of Times Square? Like, like an intersection. Kind of an intersection. I don't know. Wait, let me check.
Hey, let me. Here's another thing, right?
Year's? It's gonna
No, here's another thing. May in New York is unpredictable. That shit could be really fucking cold at night.
Oh, yeah,
Can you imagine it's like 45 degrees?
I think there's underground tunnels and shit.
They're gonna put a heater.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah, you're right. Technology.
And then the day after that, it's a Canelo fight, which is weird. I mean, I know it's a different location, but
like the day after, we fights on Sunday too.
And then,
that's what I'm saying.
Damn,
that's actually good.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, three-day weekend.
Oh, that's great for boxing. But yeah, anyways, thank Davis. Yeah, so you guys are saying he's gonna be jealous of this big event.
Keep Canelo's name out of your fucking mouth for the last time.
Slap it.
Ooh.
What else can we talk about?
Mirage knows better.
Oh, don't start. Don't summon.
Hey, when's Boots Stanionis? Isn't that in a week or so?
Boots. Yeah, I think it's in a week. I have to check.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Boots is gonna. This is perfect matchup for Boots. I don't know why people think Stanionis is gonna some big tough ass opponent. He's gonna be standing right in front of Boots, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like stocky.
Yeah, that's isn't that perfect? That's perfect for Boots. Target practice.
Well, let's see him pull it off, man.
I have
You're telling me you're not going to give him any credit? You wouldn't give him any credit if he beats Stanionis up?
I mean, that's a good win for him. Decent credit, but it's not going to be like, wow. It's just like, custom-made opponent. You got to do what you need to do with that opponent. And you got to look great. I expect him. If he looks great, I'll say, yeah, I'll give him credit for looking great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a fight? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, especially after those Karen performances. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, a fight that's coming up in early April is going to be Villanello versus Richard Torres. I think that's a good step up for Torres.
Who's that other guy?
Guido Villanello, the Italian fighter. He's pretty good. He was a pretty solid fight.
Yeah.
How old is Richard Torres?
He's a big ass motherfucker.
How old is Torres? He's like 21 or something like that. He's a young guy, right?
No, he's like 25 or something like that.
25.
He's a young bull.
He's 26. I think he's 26 actually.
Yeah, but he needs to step it up, man. I'm getting impatient here. It's getting annoying here. Like he's actually good.
I like his style though.
No, how good is the guy?
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, if he struggles against this guy, then we're gonna have a lot of questions. But I think this is a good fight for a step up.
He's gonna be 26 this summer.
You think he can? You think after this, you think he'll be all right with Jared Anderson in there?
What's that?
Would Jared Anderson be a good test for Torres?
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah,
I think so.
Definitely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced with Torres. He's got that sort of the bum rush sort of style. He just comes in, rushes and swings. I don't know how that's going to work against a quality opponent. Sort of like a bum style almost. I'm not impressed.
I don't see him working behind a jab. He does it against like shitty opposition, but that
reminds me of Peter McNeely or something like that.
Yeah,
I have confidence in Ravishing Rick Rude.
I mean, he looks like a porn star. So from the 70s.
You think he purposely has that look?
Oh, yeah. I think he's a John Holmes fan. I think he said that.
Thought he was a Burt Reynolds fan.
Oh yeah, that was another one. Wait a second, he wasn't a porn star. Burt Reynolds wasn't a porn. Was he?
I didn't know you guys talking about porn star.
Oh, sorry. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm thinking May boxing should be alive again, starting from May on out.
Speaking about May, did you guys hear the rumors of the late May potential Caleb Plant against Jermall Charlo fight?
Oh, wow.
Wow, that one's good.
Why? Because he
that'll be fun, yeah.
Did he get smacked by that guy?
Yeah, who smacked who? Who smacked who? I forgot.
It was
Caleb smacked
Jamal Charlo. Yeah, he leaped into it like a left hook, like a gazelle hook, but it was a slap.
Yeah, that was racist.
That was a racist.
And it's funny because they were like outside the venue or kind of inside it, like in the warehouse area, and you could hear the echo when he smacked them. It was pretty funny.
Dude, when he smacked him, he called him a bitch at the same time. Like,
yeah.
You know that clip's got like 20 million views, right? That's got like 20 million views on YouTube, that clip.
Did you see Charlo's reaction? Like, he was like, oh, I just got slapped. Like, his reaction was priceless.
He was bad.
I was going to start crying.
He had that like, Dad, did he just smack the shit out of me?
Hey, you know why? Because Charlo's not about that life, bro.
He's not.
Yeah, if it was Mike Tyson would have ate him up on the spot.
Well, remember when Jacobs, I think, punked that same Charlo.
The thing about the Charlo is like, they infinite gangsters. They probably went to like a private school. Both parents at home.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like when you see them on like those little like 20 for 20s or whatever they do, like whenever they talk about their life, like they sound like they grew up pretty stable.
Yeah, no, they look like
Severino.
From what I'm hearing, they're catching L's everywhere because the Houston cats, the Charlos aren't from Houston, they're from Louisiana. I'm like, oh wow.
Like, they probably moved to Texas when they were little kids. They been there for a while.
Yeah,
Houston was like Houston said.
Like if you take them to Louisiana right now, they probably get lost or robbed.
Yeah,
or both.
In the chat, Gene Ryu says that he will Smith Charlo. He will Smith Charlo. He did.
I mean, I heard the little Charlo, but he's gonna come back. He will stay at 154.
Can he make 154?
I mean, with the amount of jail time and crack he has done lately, I think so.
Yeah, probably. I forgot about those guys.
Well, what I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can go ahead.
No, what I want to mention is, I think they're probably going to be like part of TKO, man, because I don't think those guys throwing a lot of money to those.
Yeah, but I think TKO is supposed to have like up and coming boxers, not boxers we don't know about. If Charlo's there, that's kind of embarrassing. I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing though. Like right now, man, the thing is, man, they haven't fired so long, man, that people haven't forgot about them unless it's one of these podcasts or like they remember the Caleb Plant slap or something. That's the only way you can hear his name, or he got in trouble with the law.
Two of the biggest waste of talent I've seen in a long time.
I mean, at the very least, little Charlo, he did what he needed to do. He collected all the belts.
No, almost, go ahead.
No, as overrated and as much as his road could be, he took a couple of losses. That's fine. In my opinion, that's just build the fighter better, because he came back in every single one. So he earned my respect, man. He earned my respect, even though he fought like a bitch against Canelo. He earned my respect in so many ways. But the other one, man, he Man, when he started, man, I thought he was like the most talented one out of the two. But then I don't know, man. I remember he beat Divianchenko 160. You know, he and then I don't know. I think he just disappeared after that. No, he fought what's his name? The guy who struggled with, and then he fought
Jose Jr.
Molina.
No. He was a 160, and he struggled a lot, and then Diamonds came in and knocked him out like in 2 rounds or some shit.
Oh, Montiel.
Montiel, yeah.
Okay, you know what's the worst travesty about? They robbed Korobov. Korobov was punched left all day, giving Jamal Charlo that left all night long, and they robbed that man. That was fucked up.
Well, he didn't look too good against Jose Jr. Was it Benavidez Jr.? He didn't look too good against him. He came up and wait for that fight.
Yeah. He didn't even make the weight though. It was a casual 163 or some shit.
Yeah, that went the distance.
Yeah, he looked bad, man.
They're not boxers. They're athletes, man. They're not boxers. Like,
now they have certain amount of crabs. Don't get it twisted. Like, you know, that's because they turn into crack or whatever. You know, I don't want to poop on their careers either. Like they deserve a certain amount of respect, even though their careers lately they've been to the sideways.
The amount of
people
respect
like to
the amount of
people like to shit on people after like their careers go down or whatever. Even though the certain parts they're kind of overrated, but you know they deserve a little bit of respect. You know, at least little Charlo.
The respect they deserve is they're overrated and underachieved.
Yeah,
they didn't live up to the hype that they got going into these twins to be the. I mean, they both won titles in the same weight class. They both won more than one title throughout their career, whether in 1 or 2 weight classes. I'm not going to take their accomplishments away, but the hype they were getting coming out of the amateurs and into as prospects coming up, they should have been main eventers, pulling down 8-figure paydays and selling out crowds and everything else. They never got to that level, and it wasn't because they didn't have a style that couldn't sell. They signed with the wrong promotion. They fought less. They got soft fighting, weak competition. They blew their own heads up thinking that they were good because they were blowing out that weak competition. One of them was a hot and cold fighter that regularly got upset by guys that never should have been champion. Because I'm sorry, Tony Harrison should never have been champion. He was a good fighter, but he's not good enough to. He really should have been a champion. And
absolutely.
And then Gonzalo and I had a huge argument about. I forget how to say the other guy's name. Who was the Argentinian guy that he fought?
Castano.
Castano.
No,
Castano.
Castano. Yeah, Gonzalo and I was talking a big crap about how there's levels to this game and Green's going to rise to the top. And then Charlo crapped the bed. Didn't show up for that fight. Made me eat crow. Yeah. I'm not upset at him for making me eat crow, but if he would have done his job like he did in the second fight, he proved me right in the second fight, but he should have done it the first time.
By the way, guys,
everyone has a bad night, but he had a bad night because he was an inconsistent fighter.
Yeah, they seemed like guys that were talented at boxing, but they didn't love boxing. That's what it seems like to me.
They wanted the money. They wanted easy fights. All right, guys, super chat from Rapax Trucking Company. Thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate it. He says, hopefully the American slick style will be weeded out of boxing when the Turk and Dana reward the brawlers and counterpunchers in decisions while putting the American slick style on the bottom of the totem pole. Hopefully, if they have that much influence with the judges and everything, I hope so. I'm tired of this back foot bitches getting all the decisions. But this is the problem with the judges are a problem. They don't know how to score fights anymore. And then the referees don't even they don't know how to do their job. So, a big problem here.
Hey, I asked this to 2 older gentlemen the other day when I was on the VC, and I want to ask all the older gentlemen on here, anyone who wants to answer, when did the American style become the slick style? Because remember, there were so many great Americans back then that had multiple different styles. There was pure boxers, there was sluggers, there was swarmers. There were all kinds of styles. It didn't matter what they were, boxer punchers.
Floyd
ruined it. Floyd
ruined it, but when you had Floyd and then you got to put Andre Ward in there too, when they became like the 2 guys of undefeated and high profile guys with the same style, it just started to become predominant that everyone wanted to fight like that because they were either A, undefeated, or two, in Mayweather's case, extremely wealthy. And so that became the style to idolize. Because Floyd didn't fight like that when he was young. I don't go with this pretty boy versus money. I don't give a crap about it. It's the same guy. It's the same person. The same DNA. It's the same person. He actually had the tools and the talent, and let's face it, they were smaller guys without big punches. So he fought more aggressively against Jesus Chavez than he would against Marcos Maidana. Why? Because Jesus Chavez can't punch like Marcos Maidana. That's the real reason. It's not the money versus the pretty boy. The quality of competition was safer for him to fight like that against.
But the thing is, Floyd showed us that he could fight differently when he was below 140, let's say 130, 135. Yeah, maybe even 140. You could see still the pretty boy style.
The 135 was his worst weight class.
Which one?
I mean, he had 135. He had 5 fights there, and only one real impressive one, and that was Endau. He didn't look good against Soto. He did not look good against Castillo in either fight, even though he won the rematch. It wasn't a whitewash. He struggled greatly in the rematch. He won 7-5, and he should have lost the first one. And then Augustus made him look terrible. Now, don't get me wrong, Augustus is a tough fighter. He's a very unusual fighter, and I get that. But when you're supposed to be the TBE, a guy like Augustus you should have him figured out before the 9th round, and he didn't. So those are his 5 fights at that weight class, and none of them are ones that go, yeah, man, that's the best Mayweather I ever saw.
Now, some people claim because he was fighting bigger guys at 147, then he had to change his style. But I can kind of understand, but I think he exaggerated sometimes. I think he could have taken out, for example, Robert Guerrero.
Well, who were the guys that were bigger than him? Because a lot of the guys he fought were also guys that came up to that weight too.
Exactly, Robert Guerrero. That's a great. I think he fought at 126. Definitely 130.
Former bantamweight.
Floyd in the latter part of Floyd's career, like in the latter part of his career, like it wasn't that he ran away from people. It was his quality. Like Robert Guerrero wasn't good. Berto was old with 2 shoulder surgeries and all that. Like literally, like Floyd, it was just his quality of competition, I'd say. But
I think he
should have moved up.
He should have stopped Robert Guerrero, in my opinion. Like he could have.
Let's put this in perspective.
He hadn't busted up. He still
welterweight.
just threw one shot, pot shot, and then moved away. And I'm like, sit on your punches and get this guy out of there. He could do it. He could have.
Well, let's just put this in perspective of his welterweight career. He moves up and fights a natural junior welterweight in Zab Judah. Then he beats the very limited Baldomir. When the division gets hot with Paul Williams, Antonio Margarito, Miguel Cotto, and other fighters, he retires. When they're all gone, he comes out of retirement and fights a featherweight. He fights a shot Shane Mosley. He fights a head case and Victor Ortiz. He fights a head case and Ortiz. You know, he beats a 36-year-old Manny Pacquiao, and yet he was 38, but neither one were at their best, but Manny was obviously more faded. This is his welterweight career. Now, he was successful financially, but you really stop and look at who he fought at the stage they were at, and he never went towards someone that was like, yep, that's the most dangerous guy. It's going to make me the most money and prove that I'm great. That's my next fighter. That's what Ray Leonard did. That's what Vernon Forrest did. That's what Shane Mosley did. That's not what Floyd Mayweather did.
That Paul Williams fight would have been interesting because he would have fought a guy that's really tall for the division. And that would have been interesting how he figures that out, how his style, a guy that's tall. The Margarito fight as well, a style that we didn't see. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, those are 2 guys that he struggled with, guys that throw like volume like that. I mean, he struggled with B-level pressure fighters. Imagine guys that throw volume like that were top-level guys, the Williams and Margarito at that time. They would have gave him trouble. Castillo gave him trouble. Later on, Maidana gave him trouble. That's a terrible style for him.
We're not saying he could have won those fights. Real quick, you're not saying he could have won those fights. You're just admitting the fact that they would have been extremely tough fights for him, and he would not have looked that impressive. And I agree.
Hey, Chief, do you think that Paul Williams would have beat Mayweather before? Had he?
Hard to say. I mean, I was rewatching the Margarita fight the other day, and his activity was just so And you're talking about a 6 foot tall southpaw that can jab and fight inside and hit over 100 punches around from all sorts of angles. I mean, not saying that Floyd doesn't win because I keep forgetting the guy's name. There's the Puerto Rican guy that Cotto beat for the WBA title that beat Paul Williams. But that guy was a slick. Quintana's slick, and he's a southpaw. I'm not saying Floyd wasn't slick, but Floyd wasn't a southpaw, and Quintana was. And that dimension adds that little bit into it to say that, well, Quintana beat Paul Williams, so Floyd could have also. Well, Floyd's not a southpaw. So those punches are coming from different angles that Paul Williams doesn't see every day. I'm not saying he can see Floyd's punches and react to them, but pot shotting from an orthodox fighter, he sees that all the time because he rarely fights another southpaw. So to answer your question, I'm not saying who wins, but to go off the triangle theory of how Floyd did against X, Y, and Z and how Paul did against X, Y, and Z, I just take the size and the stature and the skill set. Floyd was not an active fighter at welterweight. He would have had to be an active to throw Paul off his game plan, and it would have been a very, very bad matchup for him, even if he would have won.
And this is the thing we're talking about Crawford, who he fought and everything like that. But we would have given a lot of credit to Floyd for fighting a big welterweight in Margarito or in Paul Williams. Those are wins he could have gone like, and Crawford doesn't have that. Just saying.
Right. And to be honest with you, I think that Floyd would have figured a way around Margarito. Margarito's not the typical Mexican fighter, so it would have been a little more awkward for him because he probably would have expected Margarito to be the hooker. So he would plant his right hand against Floyd would have planted the right hand, like holding the telephone, as people say, and forgetting the fact that Margarito had a good right hand and he liked to throw the uppercut and not the hook. But Floyd would have adjusted. And then once he would have adjusted, I never saw Margarito really change the game plan. Like Cotto, whether it was plaster of Paris or not, Cotto faded late in that fight and Margarito came on. So loaded gloves or not loaded gloves, Margarito had an opportunity because Cotto couldn't keep that pace up. But look at all those counters and how quick and how pot-shotting he was against it. Floyd could have done that too. The question is, could his will have taken over all the way in the late rounds? Floyd wouldn't have faded. And so based off of that, I think the Margarito would have possibly been not an easier fight for Floyd, but probably easier than some people that think that Floyd ducked Margarito would have. The people that think that Floyd ducked Margarito would have probably been surprised that it would have been easier than they thought, is what I'm trying to say.
I guess we will never know.
Yeah, I think Margarito personally would have beaten him, in my opinion, just based off activity. I don't think Mayweather would have been able to kept up with his activity, in my opinion.
Well, if you think that he could have had the activity to keep Floyd in his shell, I'm not going to argue that. That's a very good point. Because Floyd, all right, I'm going to bring in Marquez for a second. Marquez was a better counterpuncher, in my opinion, than Floyd because he knew how to roll with the shot but still take it, sacrifice and take the shot to land his own. Floyd's going to wait his turn. Floyd is not going to open himself up on a shot that he's going to get hit with, which is your point exactly, that people that outwork him because he waits his turn. And so if your stance is the fact that you think Margarito would have used 100+ punches around to keep Floyd in his shell, I'm not going to argue that point. But he usually needs an opponent to be there. Now, Floyd didn't move as much as Cotto did at welterweight, but Floyd could pot shot like Cotto could at welterweight. So the question is, does that throw... Real quick, let me finish. Does Floyd's pot shotting throw Margarito's rhythm off to where he doesn't get started like that? Your rebuttal, please.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I seem to remember. I seem to remember. Hang on, let me talk. You haven't talked for ages. I seem to remember Floyd sitting on the.
Wait, real quick, Mirage. I'm not trying to be a dick. Quentin had a response, but I want to hear you right after that. Is that cool? All right, Quentin. As soon as you're done, Mirage goes next.
Yeah, one reason why I do think that he would have had more success against Mayweather than he had against Cotto is because Miguel Cotto, he's got a lot of punching power when it comes to his pot shots. Mayweather isn't going to have a lot on his shots. So I do feel like eventually his activity would take over compared to when he was getting countered by Miguel Cotto, because he was taking a lot of big left hooks, which is Cotto's signature shot, and he walked right through it. Once, Mayweather does all those flashy, or what was that right hand called, where he would bend back and throw the straight right hand like a pot shot right hand, or those check left hooks, eventually Margarito's will is going to take over. I just don't see Mayweather, who constantly when he gets into the corner, his dad or his uncle has to talk to him and get him to calm down. I'm not sure how he would take that. He told him, "You're losing the fight. He's outworking you. You're going to have to up your tempo." I don't think he would do it, in my opinion.
Fair comment.
I seem to remember Mayweather counter-punching in between the combinations of Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez. They were literally punching, and he was getting him counter-punching with clean shots. A lot of that stuff is in the highlight reel. So I don't know what you're talking about. Floyd has to wait his turn.
Happened when De La Hoya was tired in the second half of the fight.
Yeah, Margarito will be target. Margarito will be target. Margarito will be target practice.
That was a shot De La Hoya, not a prime Margarito. So I mean,
he wasn't shot. It was past his prime. It was past his prime. I mean,
he was shot.
Is Margarito like better than the version of De La Hoya ever?
At that,
he's sloppier. Probably not as fast. I mean, he'll be target practice for Floyd.
That's what they said about Maidana. This guy's just a brawler, and look what he did to Floyd.
Yeah, look
he missed most of his flurries. Yeah, he missed most of his flurries, and idiots thought he won the fight.
Maidana put a beating on Floyd in that first fight.
He's not skilled. I mean,
Maidana missed most of those punches.
No, he didn't.
No. You're just...
Okay, let me look at the compy box. Let me look at the facts compy box. Hang on, let me look it up. Here.
Oh God! But anyway, let me go with this. Let me go with this fact.
Somebody's scared of the facts already. Don't be scared.
CompuBox the facts.
Oh, here's a fact. Here's a fact.
CompuBox said that Cotto landed 4 punches in the 6th round against Mayweather. So they're not always right.
I don't know. How many did he land? How many did he land?
More than 6. He bloodied his lip.
How many was it? So you don't even know.
Why don't you do your homework and go count? In the meantime, let the adults.
You made the claim.
So go.
But you don't know.
I know you don't know. So you go look and you tell us.
He says that I
don't jump around with your kangaroos. Don't jump around with your kangaroos and play with your monitor lizards in Australia. Be quiet.
So Medina landed 26% of his punches. Floyd landed 54%.
Okay, but
26 versus 54.
Guess what? He had Floyd trapped in a shell because Floyd waited his turn. I rest my case. Moving on.
But he wasn't doing it. He was just hitting air most of the time. 26% landed. That's pitiful.
No, he was hitting arms.
But of course, casuals like you.
Yeah. My goodness gracious.
They just see a guy throwing punches and they're sort of landing on the body, and you think they're actually scoring blows. Because you don't even understand how boxing fights are scored.
All of those missed punches could have happened at the end of the fight.
You know, when the crowd goes...
Any of those missed punches could have happened at the end of the fight.
When the crowd gets excited when somebody throws a punch, you think that lands, you automatically give it to him. That's so casual, low-tier level boxing analysis, man. No surprise comes from
That's an interesting way to call someone the N-word. You know that?
I heard
who are you actually... Who are you actually accusing of this?
A whole bunch of people.
Obviously not me, because I didn't say any of that. So anyway,
you definitely didn't accuse me of that.
I accused both of you, actually.
You're guilty.
Wow. Anyway,
yeah. Now what?
Wow. I clearly said that Floyd gets trapped.
I don't care what you said. I'm blaming you and I'm accusing you. That's how it works.
Why?
Why not?
Why not? And that means absolutely what to anyone. Exactly.
That means a lot to me. You hurt my
feelings. It doesn't mean anything. So the point of now that you're trying to twist everything around again, just to try and make an argument, my point was Floyd waits his turn and gets caught in a shell against active fighters. And you're bringing up the fight that clearly showed the fact that he did that. These punches weren't landing on air. They were landing on his arms and shoulders, trapping Floyd inside of his Philly shell, which is exactly what I said happens.
But they're not scoring.
And you're now bringing up
they're not
example.
scoring punches. They're not scoring punches.
It doesn't matter I didn't say about the fact it was scoring. I said in fact it traps Floyd in a defensive shell. That's exactly what I said. In the English language, I used those words. And you're using a fight that actually exemplifies my point. So thank you very much.
He's a casual, isn't he?
Okay, and like if he's not scoring, he's just fucking wasting energy, and then Floyd smacks him up when it's his turn. I mean,
that's not what happened. Floyd clinched afterwards. That's what happened.
Yeah. So he never counted him during the combinations. Never really.
No.
Why do you think most people think Maidana won that fight? He outworked Floyd.
Maidana definitely beat Floyd.
I don't know if most people think
100% beat him.
that because he was closer than expected.
No, he beat him.
Surprised people. That people don't like Floyd. They wanted him to lose.
He won the first 5 rounds and then won the 8th and 12th.
Okay.
That's 7 rounds to 5.
I mean, look, Maidana beat Floyd, all right? Just get over it.
He won the first 5 because, like you say so. Are you the authority now?
If it was any other fighter, if it wasn't Floyd, he would have fucking lost.
So you think Margarito would beat Floyd Mayweather? You guys run the record with that?
Yes, he probably would.
No, I said I pick him to win.
He would. Did you see what Manny had to do to go? Did you see what Manny had to do to fight Margarito, bro? He was on the back foot, moving all over the fucking place, throwing bunches of punches, and dude just
he was piecing the crap out of him. He was target.
Floyd can't do that. Floyd can't do that.
Yeah,
Floyd does not have the ability to do that.
Really?
Floyd cannot do what Manny Pacquiao.
He's not as accurate as Manny Pacquiao.
That was prime Manny Pacquiao, bro.
He's not longer than Manny Pacquiao.
That dude is the Terminator. I saw Margarito's red eye come out at some point. He was like, remember the red eye came out
because he was target practice. Exactly.
So
but Floyd can't do that. Floyd doesn't have that ability.
Floyd Mayweather. Floyd doesn't have the ability. Floyd doesn't have the ability to land accurate punches.
Yeah, he doesn't punch that much.
No, he doesn't throw enough punches. He doesn't throw enough punches.
Volume.
Versus somebody who's there to get hit. Margarito there to be hit. He doesn't load. He doesn't load.
Mirage. Name me a time Floyd showed a exorbitant amount of activity at welterweight. Mm-hmm. Multiple punch combinations, not just pot shotting.
What weight did he fight Gotti? What weight did he fight?
We're bringing up 140. We're bringing up the fact that
why does it matter the weight specifically? What does it matter the weight? It's a style.
You just asked what weight class it was.
Floyd was
always all. I give you an answer, and then you ask why it matters.
I don't remember all the opponents and all the fights. All I know is the style is what matters.
You don't remember a lot. I mean, you clearly
if a guy is standing in front, if he's standing in front, he's target practice.
For the weight class. You just
Floyd Mayweather was always
unload.
Let me say this. It's simple.
Why does it matter?
Floyd Mayweather was he's a defense first fighter. That's why he could be outworked by any high volume puncher. Margarito was Maidana was not a highly skilled fighter. He just had a high work rate. He had
also a hot and cold fighter.
Same for Ricky Hatton. Why did Floyd struggle with Ricky Hatton? Because the guy's a high output fighter. He's volume punchers give him huge problems.
Did he struggle? Didn't he win?
This is another reason why he got Margarito, because Margarito
actually
win almost every
Margarito
round.
was a
early Floyd was different.
Tall and long.
Well, he was never
early, everybody says that, but he wasn't fighting nothing great. I think pretty boy Floyd, he ain't nothing too special.
No, even then, he was never a high volume puncher.
Pretty boy Floyd. Hold on, this is the fact. Pretty boy Floyd ducked Shane Mosley.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
Yep.
He did. Yeah.
And didn't he say something like
this? Old washed up Mosley almost knocked him out in 2 rounds. What do you think prime Mosley would have done to this guy?
Zab Judah knocked him down. Remember? And then the cricket referee scored it as a slip.
Yep.
You know, technically Floyd lost to Zab Judah. Technically, to go by the actual
they jumped in the ring.
He should have been DQ'd. Dude, his coach jumped in the ring and literally choked Zab Judah unconscious. and this motherfucker came out, woke up, and continued to fight Floyd. It's like, are you kidding me? It's a DQ just for him to step in the ring.
Yeah,
he strangled this man unconscious.
Well, adding the fact against Ortiz, the referee never said time in when Floyd knocked him out. So the only time you can hit a fighter is when the clock's going. And since the clock wasn't going, that should have been an actual. At the minimum, it should have been a no contest. At the very minimum. Yeah. So, but it wasn't.
Joe Cortez was the ref for that, right?
Cortez is Floyd's little buddy. That's his buddy. Yeah. Remember he fucking hugged the guy after the Hatton fight. No one realized that the motherfucker hugged him. He gave him a big ass hug.
Great job.
I'm fair, but I'm firm. He took a picture with him.
He's like, we did it. We did it, Floyd. We did it.
I'm fair, but I'm firm.
Remember he cried. Remember Floyd cried after
he beat the point of the whole thing when we're bringing up Margarito and everything else. It's not that Floyd didn't have the accuracy and the skill. It's the fact that at welterweight, which where Margarito fought at, so the weight is important because Margarito didn't fight at lightweight and he didn't fight at 140.
That was very important.
So obviously weight has something to do with this conversation. Floyd was not a volume puncher. He was accurate, but he didn't have the volume that Manny did. And that's the point that we're making.
He doesn't need it. He's more accurate. He has better defense. Canelo gets outworked almost every. Canelo gets outworked almost every fight.
You mean he has unethical defense?
Canelo gets outworked. He's low volume.
Yeah, but
as well.
Canelo also has respectable punching power. Mayweather really didn't at the 147-pound weight class. You think Margarito's going to care about Mayweather's punches?
But he's got great defense. You reckon Margarito's landing?
You mean he has
landing a lot of punches?
Yeah, Mirage. You mean he has unethical defense?
You know, Mayweather you know, Margarito just swings wildly. He's not even an accurate puncher.
No, he doesn't just do that. No, he just.
There's a reason why Floyd ducked him, bro. He fucking ducked the guy. Like, why are you gonna even go on?
He didn't duck him.
He didn't want him. Yes, he did.
He straight up told him to his face. He straight up told him to his face, "I'm not going to fight you right now."
Yeah, he was never going to fight. He was never going to fight that guy.
Who did he fight instead? So he didn't.
He fought some fucking lightweight.
Ricky Hatton. He fought Ricky Hatton and then retired.
Yeah,
he fought a junior welterweight instead and then retired.
No, his retirement fight was Birdo, not fucking Ricky Hatton. So
he retired.
He retired.
The timeline is all over the place.
Retirement. First.
But
Ricky Hatton was a big name. That was a big.
He retired. Ricky Hatton was a weight class below him, bro. He was a weight class below him.
Yeah, but it was a big name still. That was a legacy, more of a legacy.
How was that a legacy fight to fight a smaller man? How was that a legacy?
Ask Canelo. Hey, ask Canelo. Ask Canelo.
Wait, let me say this. Look, I said this earlier. Canelo's done with legacy. Canelo in no way sees Crawford as a legacy fight. He doesn't.
It doesn't even matter.
Fanboys. So if he knocks out Crawford, the fanboys are not going to say this solidified Canelo.
That's not a legacy fight.
It's not an answer. We asked why fight a smaller guy versus fighting Margarito. We're not talking about Canelo. That is a dodge. That's basically you're being a Floyd right now and you're ducking the question.
He was ranked one of the best.
He was ranked where? I want to hear this. Where was he ranked?
He was ranked one of the best fighters in the world.
Where was he ranked?
That's not the point. Terence Crawford's ranked nowhere at super middleweight, but he's still ranked one of the best fighters in the world.
Not the point.
Ricky Hatton was probably almost pound for pound at that stage. He beat Costa.
He was nowhere near pound for pound.
He was a bigger scalp.
You're talking about those things.
He's a bigger scalp than Margarito at the time. Who the fuck was Margarito then? Who was Margarito?
Who was he?
He was very close.
He was number 2 welterweight at the time, behind Floyd.
Yeah, but in terms of a legacy fight, Ricky Hatton was
no. We're talking about in the weight class.
I mean, it's good. Ricky Hatton was dying legacy. That's garbage.
If legacy fight means something, then you're actually proving the point again by trying to say, ask Canelo and Crawford. You're actually you're your own worst enemy. You go back and double talk, and you actually prove yourself wrong and contradict yourself. You are so much fun because
you don't believe Crawford's a legacy fight.
It is a contradiction because in that case you have to apply that to Canelo versus Crawford and say that's a good fight. That's a legacy fight, right? Because he's a big.
But he believes Crawford is a legacy fight. He believes he is.
Yeah. I mean, it all goes on into his legacy anyway, but for real boxing fans, it doesn't mean jack shit. A lot of people would say, oh, wow, look, Canelo wiped the floor of Crawford. But anybody that knows the sport knows that's garbage. It's a trash fight.
It's like when Roy Jones fought Otis Grant. He made Otis Grant move up 2 weight classes, and everyone's, oh, he beat an undefeated champion. A guy who never fought at light heavyweight in his career. Was not really a good puncher even at middleweight, was undefeated at middleweight of the WBO class, which, let's face it, at that time there's hit and miss on how great your WBO champions were. And Otis Grant didn't have that belt very long, so even at the WBO level, he wasn't that great.
I want to ask Mirage this question. Do you know how many times Ricky Hatton fought at 147, Mirage, and do you know who he struggled against?
I know he struggled in the fight before the Floyd fight, probably in a couple times.
No, at 147, do you know who he struggled against?
I don't know, but he wasn't some big name. Yeah, and he struggled.
Starts with a C, right?
He struggled with Luis Collazo. That's the guy.
Yeah, okay.
Collazo beat him.
He beat him, and then he fought Floyd.
No, he went back down to 140 and had 4 or 5 fights, and then he moved back up to fight Floyd because Floyd made him move up to 147.
I thought Collazo showed the blueprint on how to beat him.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's like an amazing win, but I'm saying like that's the reasoning behind it.
Well, the reasoning, I don't know about the reason behind it, but you don't even have your timeline straight. You made it sound like he had one bad fight against that guy and went straight in against Floyd, which clearly.
Yeah, okay, I don't remember the timeline exactly off the top of my head. Who gives a shit?
You've proven the fact you
doesn't change anything.
Changes the fact that you're.
And what was so good about Margarito? What had Margarito accomplished at that stage that he was such a big?
He beat Cotto. He beat Cotto. That was a big win.
No, he hadn't beaten Cotto yet.
Oh, this is before he beat Cotto.
Yes, before.
Well, at that time, wasn't he a guy that no one was trying to fight? And also, Paul Williams was right there in that
Paul
same
Williams
kind
was
of
the only one that wanted to fight.
Wasn't worth fighting, and then they fought each other.
He beat Sergio Martinez, didn't he?
Yeah, but Martinez wasn't seen as Martinez wasn't seen as that guy at that time. But Margarito and Williams were two guys being gutted by the other champion. Williams stepped up to fight Margarito. I think that's what the storyline was, if I believe.
No, Margarito could not get fights. He was fighting just the WBO mandatory contenders because nobody else would step up to fight him.
And it was Paul Williams that said, "Oh fuck it, I'll do it." Right?
He was the number one contender and said, "I'm going to take that fight since nobody else will."
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, he almost dropped the ball there. Margarito in those last 2 of the last 3 rounds, I mean, the 12th round was close, even though I think Williams outworked him, which is why it goes back to the conversation that came up about Floyd and activity altogether is where it started from. His activity is what won him the 12th round, but Margarito's landed some really good shots. But 10 and 11, he had him on Queer Street. If he would have loaded his gloves in that fight, I think Paul Williams might have got knocked out.
Yeah, you had, like the guys that beat him, you have to have really, really high volume or respectable
And
punching power or a combination of both.
Yeah.
Which Mayweather doesn't have.
They never proved that guy loaded his gloves. They never proved that.
So here's exactly what happened.
Because I remember Nassim Richardson said a fucking block.
In the Cotto fight, everyone assumes the fact the gloves were loaded because of what happened going into the Mosley fight. The original situation is Nassim Richardson walked in, and I might be getting this somewhat mixed up with the Trinidad Hopkins fight, so bear with me. But I do believe that the gloves were already signed and good to go in both situations. And Richardson was like, "No, we need to be able to take the gloves off." When they took the gloves off of Margarito, they saw plaster of Paris in the hand wraps.
No, I mean, Nassim said that a block came out of it. He says this was during the Margarito fight. He said a fucking block fell out.
He said
I was gonna jump over that table and beat his ass.
I'm going by the report of what was happening that night when Jim Lampley said they saw plaster of Paris in his wraps. Now, whether there was a plaster of Paris that was solidified and blocked, or whether they wrapped his hands with plaster of Paris.
No, it was a substance-like. It was a substance-like.
They didn't find
plaster. Like a powder.
No, that's a big distinction. That's a big distinction. And anyway, I bet you the thing is, hang on. I bet you if they inspected every boxer's gloves, there'd be something like that when they fucking, whatever the stuff they put on that's similar. I think that would happen if they inspected every boxer's gloves. So
but you noticed this in a lot of.
Let Chief finish his point, bro. I wanted to hear this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the point of the fact is that whether it was a similar substance it was an illegal substance other than regular gauze, case closed on whatever it was. It wasn't legal. And so they made him rewrap his hands, and he went in against Mosley and got his butt kicked. That's the only fight they saw it in. Now, having said that real quick, and I'll make this fast because I know that people want to talk, his punching power seems to have increased greatly after the Williams fight. Because remember, he fought Kermit Cintron twice. And the second time Cintron fought him, said he hits harder this time. He's gotten stronger. Then he blew Golden Johnson out. And even though Golden Johnson was a lightweight, nobody blows Golden Johnson out because he had a good chin. And so people were starting to say, wow, he's sitting down more on his punches. Then we catch him with a plaster of Paris against Mosley, and he gets knocked out. That's the sequence of events going from the Williams fight to when he got caught. Now, I don't have a conclusion of the fact the only fight he got caught with was before the Mosley fight.
And Nazim Richardson also has a history of trying to sabotage. I believe
I was going to say
this. He sabotaged his fighter's gloves where he cut.
He has a history of sabotaging fighters.
The reason why Margarito was not punished harshly
Tito Trinidad is why he did it to him.
the reason why he wasn't penalized harshly was because they had lost chain of custody. Nassim disappeared with the gloves for 20 minutes.
Yep.
So they had
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what was this? They say, look, man, we found this residue, so we're just going to suspend you for 6 months. He would have been arrested had that not happened, and they would have just found it on their own, because that's trying to commit. That's committing assault.
Why would he say that he saw a block fall out? I saw a block fall out.
Because
he over that table.
This is the
then he grabbed the block and he ran away.
This is the guy that got caught. He actually got caught in the Cunningham versus Glowacki fight, where he picked these gloves that were clearly tampered. It's on video. There's no denying it. Yeah. And
somebody back there.
Just to go back for a second,
only was thumb attachment cut off, but he also restitched the thumb.
So earlier on, 10 minutes ago, dude, can you hear me? 10 minutes ago, I said Ricky Hatton was pound for pound when Floyd fought him. I just checked; he actually was ranked number 8 pound for pound. So, but it's cooked boxing cheap.
By who?
No, you said he wasn't even close to pound. You said he wasn't even close to pound for pound.
I said nowhere close to number 1. So anyway, who was trying to talk before
for pound? No.
Number 8. By who?
You said he wasn't close to pound for pound. He was number 8. Ring magazine.
Mirage doesn't even want to tell us where are you getting this? Where are you getting this from?
Ring magazine, which is the most credible pound for pound list.
Okay, Mirage, I'm gonna explain something. When it comes
nothing,
to,
I was wrong.
No.
He was wrong.
He wasn't even top 5.
Let me talk. When it comes to pound for pound list, you gotta show us 5 or 6 pound for pound lists to make a consensus. Because
what do you mean? I'll show you the most.
No, it's not the most.
Ring is the most credible.
Magazine,
what's the most credible?
They've made so many mistakes.
What's the most credible?
There isn't one. You need a consensus. You don't listen.
No.
You fucking idiot.
Are you saying so? There's no.
Oh my god.
We're saying the fact that we've already moved on to more intelligent conversation.
Yeah, the Ring is the most credible. Everybody knows that.
No, it's not.
He wasn't even top 5.
Okay, what is more credible than the Ring?
None of them. It's so subjective. The pound for pound.
I'm more credible.
It doesn't matter.
He's trying to bring up an old.
Stop taking the bait, man. And just ignore
I'm
this
just telling you that I was actually right.
You gotta show us a
you
bigger
were talking
sample.
out of your ass.
You gotta show us a bigger sample. You gotta show us.
No, I don't. I want to show you the most credible. You want me to show you?
Show us
you want me to show you 5 bullshit ones?
6.
The Ring is the most credible. That's all you need.
6.
Anyway, Mirage was talking as if he was saying Ricky Hatton was number 1, and I was talking as if Ricky Hatton was number 1.
No. Now you're being dishonest. Now you're trying
I'm not being
desperately
dishonest. I'm calling you out on the fact you're moving the goalpost.
You're lying. But you're lying. You're moving the goalpost. You're moving the goalpost.
You're making it sound like he was.
So ignore this guy.
No.
He's just baiting you guys in
All
a
I said was he was pound for pound. Hey, do you know this is on? This is recorded. You know this is recorded. We can just rewind it. You understand that, right? Dumbass.
Go ahead. I don't care.
This is all this guy does.
Said was
bait you in an argument.
All I said was he was pound for pound. You said no, he was nowhere near pound for pound. That's a quote.
And
you're wrong.
Now you're arguing that semantics like you were.
Take your loss. Take your loss like a man. Take your loss like a man. Don't be a bitch.
About number 8.
So anyway, the adults
he's number 8. Like when you're number 8, you might not even be on the list on some other lists. That's the thing.
And where was Margarito? Where was Margarito?
Where was
Margarito? Nowhere.
Number 2 at welterweight. Number 2 at
not
welterweight.
Pound for pound. Not pound for pound.
I don't get what's the argument.
He was pound for pound number 2 at welterweight. He was pound for pound
number 2.
140 guy.
There's no pound for pound list for divisions, man. Do you even watch boxing?
What the F?
What are you talking about?
Is this you trying to get a rise out of me because you don't know what you're talking about?
You're squirming and everybody's watching you squirm.
Dude, it literally says pound for pound in the title.
He's comparing a pound for pound list with rankings, with actual rankings from the division.
No, I'm not. I'm saying they're separate. I'm saying they're separate. You're saying apparently they're the same.
Don't compare them. You're saying, where was Margarito? Like, he was a top contender in the division.
Ricky Hatton was pound for pound. I was right. You were wrong.
Ricky Hatton is number 8 in some imaginary fucking list where fighters cannot fight each other because they're in different weight divisions.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think Hatton could have taken out Tyson Fury for sure. If that, yeah.
So Floyd fought a pound for pound fighter when you thought he was ducking Margarito. That's a fact.
But he was ducking.
Move on.
Come on,
Move on.
He was ducking.
He was ducking. He was ducking.
Dude,
He's ducking
look,
to fight a pound
here's
for
the
pound
bottom
fighter.
line. Here's the bottom line. Margarito went to his face and said, "I want to fight you," and Floyd said,
They
"No."
weren't. Wasn't Margarito with Bob Arum and Floyd
They both
Mayweather?
were with Bob.
They were both.
Raj
that
wasn't even
stage?
fucking watching
No, not at
boxing
that
then,
stage,
bro.
not at
He's
that
shut the
stage.
fuck up
Bob.
already.
They were
Why
both with
do
Bob
you guys
Arum.
keep taking the bait from Mirage? He's
No.
intentionally baiting you guys.
That's true.
Okay, I'm on my phone. I can't mute him.
You guys are really exposed as not knowing the facts and lying, and you're still trying to. You're still trying
Yo,
to pretend
Mirage,
you're credible.
what about those
Was Ricky
receipts
had a
that you
pound for
claimed to
pound
buy
when
that
Floyd fought him?
pay-per-view? Do you still have those receipts, or
What about
are they
that?
hiding in your pocket?
Who the fuck
So,
keeps receipts?
to
Where are your
clarify,
receipts?
since you're-
Where are
since
your
you're trying
receipts
to
for
switch
pound for
them-
pound? For
No, I'm talking about the receipt for that pay-per-view of Benavidez you paid for
You owe
supposedly.
people money, Mirage.
Yeah, give me $100 and I'll show you the receipt. Deal.
No, that's not what the bet was, Mirage.
Damn, that's messed up.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh, look, guys, in this very chat,
Who's fucking
in this very
background
chat,
noise there?
Mirage said,
All right.
Mirage said in this very chat that Beterbiev cannot box.
Manolo, shoot that piece of shit.
Yeah, Benavidez's a brawler. He's basically a brawler.
Not a brawler, man.
That's what he
He's
is.
an
Whose mom
underrated
is in the
boxer.
background? Whose mom is that?
Oh, I didn't see no boxing. I saw him chasing a dude around, throwing bombs for like 12 rounds. That's boxing for you. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, he cuts off the ring. He feints. He fights on the inside. He fights on the outside.
Why
He's
was
an
he
underrated-
chasing Bivol so much if he can cut off the ring?
Was pressure.
Did he ever corner Bivol? Did he ever corner Bivol at all on the ropes in the corner, or did he just chase him around?
Are you talking about the undisputed light heavyweight champion right now?
Yeah, they're saying Beterbiev is some great pure boxer, some crazy shit, man. People say anything.
No, but you said he's just a brute. You said he's a brute and he can't box.
He is. He's basically he's more of a brawler.
No, I wouldn't call him a brawler. I would say Bivol had to come forward with Beterbiev. Dude,
He's like a boxer brawler.
If Bivol had
That's the casual description.
If Bivol was forced to come forward versus Beterbiev would have knocked him the fuck out. That's what would have happened. He got the benefit because he was running his ass off. What that guy should have done is not chase him. He should have just said, "Hey, you want to run? Go run, bitch." That's what he should have done.
That's how he fights. That's how he fights.
He should have stood his ground. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Because go watch the Joe Smith fight. Go watch the Joe Smith fight and see what he did to Joe Smith when he fought on the back foot. You see what he did to Joe Smith. Then go watch what Bivol did to Joe Smith. Watch what he did.
2 rounds.
But to be fair,
yeah, that fight didn't go very long.
To be fair, if I remember correctly, I think he started landing rabbit punches.
No. He was lining him up as he was coming in and out of
he always
position.
lands rabbit
He's a
punches.
better boxer.
You know better.
Bivol ain't as good as
He
the
hurt him
boxer.
with the rabbit punches.
You know
He hurt
better
him with
than
rabbit
that. You know
punches.
better
That
than
rabbit
but
punch
come
stuff
on now.
is a hyped up bullshit. That guy can punch.
You can see it on
You
video
don't need rabbit
over
punches,
and
bro.
over.
Come on. Because he lands
Are
a
you
rabbit
serious
punch
right
here
now,
and
Will?
there. You're trying to compare him to
crazy.
Andre Ward over here.
He
Come on,
knocked
get out.
our yard with rabbit
No, he
punches.
does land rabbit
Was
punches.
the-
All
rabbit
fighters
punches.
land rabbit punches every once in
No,
a
they
while.
don't. No, they don't.
Yeah, but when
No.
it happens in
There's
a
literally
lot
like
of your
7
fights, it's
KOs.
very
Yeah,
common.
he
At
can't
least
punch. He
very
just rabbit
suspicious,
punches
dude.
people. He can't punch.
At least
yeah, I know.
7 KOs.
One at a
with
time,
rabbit
bro.
punches.
Mirage, shut the fuck up, bro, for a second. Damn.
I just got a
Make me,
question.
bitch.
I just got a question.
Make
When
me.
it's coming to
Make me.
rabbit punches, is he lining up these punches to the back of the head? Is he
They're-
purposely
he's not.
aiming?
I don't know what he's doing. They're
He's
landing
trying to
in the
wrap
back
it
of the
around
head.
the guard.
All right.
He's trying to wrap the shot around the guard.
Mirage just said
Damn,
the most
Julio,
accurate
that's
thing.
crazy.
Hold on, guys. Wait,
He's trying
wait,
to
wait.
wrap the shot
Mirage
around
just
the
said-
guard. That's what he's
real
doing.
quick. Mirage just said the most accurate thing tonight. I don't know what he's doing. No kidding. You don't know much about
There
the
you go.
sport
There
of
you go.
boxing. But anyway,
Wait, somebody just
Can
made a
we take a
karate
break
sound.
from Mirage for 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Hello, recognize.
No, we can't
All right,
get
let's go.
We need to stay with Mirage. We cannot leave Mirage.
He took a break. He took a break to cool off. He'll be
Oh,
back
he's
in
gone.
60
Yeah,
seconds.
He's gone.
All right,
He'll
get
be
back.
staying.
He'll be back.
Well, did somebody kick him out? Did somebody kick him out? Please, nobody kick, because then he's gonna start private messaging me a bunch of comments like nonstop.
I might have or might not kick them out.
Is he gonna send you dick pics? He's gonna send you dick pics.
Yeah.
He's gonna have. I heard he has David Benavidez. Benavidez tattooed on his dick.
Bucho, why don't we do a show between Jerry and Mirage one night?
Let's do it.
Oh no,
They're gonna agree.
no. Oh god.
Yeah, you're right. They probably will.
Do it.
Well, if they agree, there's no show because it's just going to be two guys talking, going, "Yeah, these other guys." Yeah, it won't be any fun.
We need you and Jerry. You versus Jerry on a kumite.
Yeah, Kumite. Kumite needs to come back. Bucha, you and BDA, if you guys put that up.
Who else wants to debate on the kumite?
I'm down. I'm down.
Vessel does.
Yeah, I'm
I
down.
challenge the boxing scientist to kumite.
I challenge anybody who don't believe that some of these ATGs be using Muay Thai in boxing.
Well, let's go to another conversation.
Anyway, there's nothing wrong with a little Muay Thai. A little bit. Just a little challenge.
Roy's a Muay Thai fighter. I think he would have been great.
You know who was a great Muay Thai fighter? Holyfield. Amazing elbow.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he's
that's a good point.
No holds barred fighter. The headbutts, man.
Lord,
our headbutts allowed in
he's a Valetudo fighter.
That's left way.
His elbows were amazing. His headbutts were.
That's left way. Yeah, Valetudo. Yeah, that too.
Some of the best headbutts in boxing history.
I challenged Duende to a Duende day.
He got his style from
Julio's favorite fighter is Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yes.
Although, being the Holyfield fan that I am, so I'm ready for all the pushback that comes along. Most of the headbutts that were being accused of from Tyson were Tyson leaving his head straight up in the air.
Nah, Holyfield was one dirty motherfucker. Dirty as hell.
He did it on purpose.
Both those guys are dirty, if I want to be honest.
That's why Mike bit his ass, because he's a dirty motherfucker.
Look, hear me out on this, because even though I'm pro Holyfield and I know that I'm going to be accused of being a fanboy, that's fine. I'll take it.
You are.
But you're the taller guy. You're 6'2" against a 5'11" guy. He's throwing an overhand right. You're ducking your chin and countering with the right hand.
Mm-hmm.
If Tyson's moving his own head, if Tyson's not moving his own head and leaving his chin, not tucking his own chin, how's that Holyfield's fault when they still collide heads?
Oh, come on, dude. It was already established. It was known that Holyfield was a dirty fuck. He had done it in many fights. You saw him fight, Ruiz? He's in everybody with elbows and headbutts. Everybody.
Okay, the Ruiz fight was after the Tyson fight.
Yeah, I know that, but he was already established.
Rahman,
it was established.
Do you remember
Rahman? It's already been established. Hold on, wait.
He headbutted the fuck out of him.
It's already been established when it happens after the point. Established means it happened before. So,
it did.
Before the Tyson fight, give me an example. Before the Tyson fight, give me an example.
I don't know. Every fight I saw Holyfield in was dirty. All of them.
Well, name the fight. Name the fight.
Name the fight at all fights.
Name the fight.
Holyfield clinches a lot. Come on, Chief. You know this.
Dude, he would headbutt the fuck out of guys. Headbutts and elbows. That's what he did.
So, again,
yes, this is true.
Well, first of all, you said already established. So when before the Tyson fight was he known for headbutting?
I said all of his fights. He was a dirty fighter. That's why I call himself Holyfield.
Against who? Name the fight.
Get you off the scent, bro. He's holy.
He would never example because there wasn't one.
Oh, come on.
Name the fight.
Name me before the Tyson fight.
Dude, I'm turning into Ben Shapiro right now. Come on.
Shapiro all you want to. I'm asking you, when before the Tyson fight was he known for headbutting? There's not an example.
I thought he was known for in all of them. I'd have to go back and watch. Dude, I haven't been watching Holyfield's fights in years now. The last Holyfield fight I watched recently. Because I saw him in many fights.
You're talking about the guy that's 35 and past his best.
Okay, I just gave you one example of one of his fights. You're saying what?
John, I gave you 38 years old.
I gave you an example. Look. I gave you an example.
Are you saying that he wasn't known for as a dirty fighter before the Tyson fight? I'm simply asking. I don't even remember.
Exactly that. I'm saying exactly that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check it.
I'd have to go back. and analyze and tell you exact examples.
Hey, can I just say a quick fact check? Floyd Mayweather left Bob Arum in 2006, which was before the alleged when he should have fought Margarito. So I was right. Again, you were wrong.
No, you weren't.
Carry on.
Oh, God.
He was ranked number
2006. No.
Guys,
Floyd left Bob Arum in 2006. You said that he was still with him when he was going to fight.
I didn't say they were both. They were supposed
to. He was with him, wasn't he?
No, he
wasn't.
Mirage is actually correct here, but that's not. I didn't say this.
Who was he with?
FUTV. It must have been FUTV.
Who was he with?
They were both. Mirage, you don't even remember who said it, and you're trying to fact check somebody.
This idiot doesn't even know who he's talking to, bro.
Look. Who was he with? If he wasn't with Bob Arum, then who was he with? Why don't you educate us?
He was with Mayweather Promotions, you peanut.
Man, how was he with Mayweather Promotions? He was nothing at that point. He was nobody.
I don't get, dude. Educate yourself, man. You're ignorant.
This is before he fought Oscar. That was before Oscar. Yeah, he was with Golden Boy. If anything, I think he was with Bob. I think it was with. I gotta look it up. I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay,
with
so
Bob.
hold on. Whoa. Here's what it was.
Yeah,
he left.
You didn't
he
know
left-
anything.
He left.
Oh my
Bob
God! Random interview. Like, bro, you know it. It was a random. He ambushed him.
He left Bob Arum at the Baltimore fight. He formed his own company called Mayweather Promotions, but fought under the banner of Golden Boy all the way up until 2006 when he retired.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Those are the real facts.
That's true because you know why.
Bob Arum, and that was an obstacle for a Margarito fight that I mentioned.
Do you know why he went into retirement? Do you know why Floyd went?
Because Golden Boy did business with Bob Arum during that time. So no, it wasn't an obstacle.
But do you know why he went? You know why Floyd went into retirement?
Floyd refused.
So
why did he go into retirement?
Yeah, which retirement? He had many.
Look. The first retirement Floyd went into. You want to know why he went into retirement? Do you know why?
Tell us some more bullshit facts.
No, it's not bullshit. No, dude. I actually know facts, unlike you, bro.
Well, you're wrong.
The reason why he went into
one,
retirement. You don't even know. I bet you I'll go look that shit up, and I bet you I was right and you were wrong.
Make you
Don't do
it. Do it for TV so he can shut up.
Let me say this. Let me fucking say this.
He won't shut up though.
Look, he retired because he had a direct rematch versus Oscar De La Hoya, and he went into fucking retirement because he didn't want it.
Yep, that's true.
He didn't want the rematch. He did it.
That was after De La Hoya, right?
Yep, that's when he went. He had a contract for a 2-fight deal with Oscar, and Oscar wanted the rematch. Floyd was like, "Fuck no," and he retired. Then he came back when the contract. So what I'm telling you is that this motherfucker ducked old Oscar. So you think he's not going to duck Margarito?
He ducked the fighter he beat. He ducked the fighter he just beat.
You were in diapers, Mirage, when this was happening.
He ducked the fighter he beat.
Don't you dare talk about Margarito.
Stop talking little Joey.
Leave Margarito alone. Obligated to take. Mirage. He ducked a fight he was contractually obligated to take.
Mirage, you don't know shit about boxing.
He ducked the fighter he defeated. He didn't want to waste his time on the rematch. Awesome.
All you know is Benavidez.
Lost, brother.
Benavidez. So he ducked a contract. He ducked something he was contractually obligated to
it's
do.
not called a duck. He literally beat him in the ring, and you're saying he ducked him. That's dumb. You're
saying he ducked him.
Being a dumb-dumb. Stop being a dumb-dumb. You're a dumb-dumb.
There's a difference between beating the best
I'm not even a Floyd
and
Mayweather
beating the
fan.
best
That's
at
the
their
funny
best.
thing. I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather, but
You're not a fan of
Mirage is such a peanut,
come on here and talk a bunch of trash.
no, because I keep the facts real. Whether I like somebody or not, I keep it real. Unlike you, you're losing a fanboy biased as fuck.
Can we just ignore this guy, man? Holy shit.
You being racist.
Mirage, your brain is a mirage.
It's very simple. Recognize. It's simple. Oscar flexed the rematch, and Floyd ducked it.
I know. I was there. I watched the whole thing happen. Mirage, you were still taking a shit in your diapers when that happened.
Exactly. That's when that. Yeah, that's true. He's still taking shits in his diapers.
So fuck off, Mirage.
He has his David Benavidez brand diapers.
He's taking a shit in his diaper right now.
Mirage just started watching boxing until his mid-30s, bro. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, and apparently Floyd ducked Keith Thurman as well. I guess you believe that bullshit.
He did duck him. He did duck him. He did.
Let me ask. Hold on. Let me ask Mirage's opinion on this. Okay, Keith Thurman, number one contender for the belt. Andre Berto, not.
If I kept letting
so
you, you would dig your own hole.
Andre Berto. So
Mirage,
is that or is that a duck?
If anybody let you talk, you would just bury yourself in shit.
Do you have an argument? Do you have an argument, or is that all you got? Just some dumb insults?
No. I want to hear.
The narrative is that. Hang on. The narrative is he ducked Keith Thurman when he fought Medina. That's the narrative, isn't it?
No, because it's not. That's not the right time frame. Once again, you're off on your time frames again.
Well, no. People have argued that. So there's multiple. No. People have literally debated
the time frame of when Keith Thurman was ranked was when he fought Andre Berto instead.
Yeah.
Right.
He was ranked well before that as well. He was ranked well before that.
Mirage, go fuck yourself.
Well, and guess who had the belt? Maidana did.
Yeah.
Maidana was the WBA champion where Keith Thurman was ranked number one. So are we saying now that Maidana ducked him also? When Floyd Mayweather had the WBA belt, he chose to fight.
Hey, Chief, I want to ask Mirage a question. How old were you 10 years ago?
What's with your dumbass questions?
How old were you?
Who gives a shit?
Who
Who gives a shit? I've been watching boxing longer than you. That's what you need to. That's what you need to know. I've been watching boxing longer than you.
That's impossible, little faggot. I was born in 1970.
Do you have an argument or you have ad homs? Is that all you have?
I'm gonna give you
How old are you? How long have you been watching boxing? Do you have an actual argument?
Presenting you facts.
Do you have an argument?
10 years ago. Why are you using my terminology now? What's going on here?
10 years ago, I think you were 12. That's
why should I care what you think? Who the fuck are you? You're a nobody. Do you realize you're a nobody?
I think you're 22 at best. Okay.
All right, yo. Look, I looked it up, bro. Yo. Let me say this. Look, you're wrong. Floyd Mayweather was with Bob Arum when the Margarito fight was being posed. You know what Floyd did? He bought out of his
contract. When was it being posed?
They had the same promoter, bro. They had the same promoter.
You said the Ricky Hatton fight, which was a year later.
No, you're saying they weren't under the same roof. That's what you were saying.
In 2007, when he
was with Bob Arum, bro. He was with Bob Arum.
Bob Arum 2007. He literally ended his contract 2006.
They were going to offer. No. This motherfucker left Bob Arum to avoid that.
Let him talk.
He rejected the fight. He was offered it. He was offered $8 million to fight Margarito. What he did is he rejected it. So Bob Arum he sold his contract. He said, "Here you go. Have this money. Get the fuck out of here." That's what happened. He was with Arum. So I was right. You were wrong.
Bitch.
No, you're literally just making shit up. Show me the offer. Show me an $8 million offer when he was with.
He was
Bob
offered $8 million by Bob. Dude.
Show me. I trust you. Show me an article.
It's on fucking ESPN.com from 2006. There's a whole article on it by Dan Raphael.
Yeah, good. I'll read it.
The whole thing about it. It's all there. The fucking guy. He left Bob Arum to avoid the fight, bro.
You little peanut.
He became a free agent. Fucking turned down $8 million. Bob Arum said, "Here you go, have a meal. Get the fuck out of here."
Mirage,
he did.
Fuck off. Nobody cares about your arguments.
He said, "Fuck off, bitch."
When Canelo knocks out Crawford, you're not going to see Mirage around anymore.
Good.
2006, bro. That was.
Oh no, he always weasels his way back, bro.
He was a ducker. Even back then, he was a ducker. Motherfucking ducker. He didn't want Chino. Don't you know he's loco?
He picked Chino and he made a mistake. He lost.
Chino.
Right, so it's the other Chino.
And all of a sudden, after that guy beats the shit out of Floyd, this guy's a fucking killer legend now.
Yeah.
Right.
What's interesting is that Margarito in many ways was just like a better version of Maidana. So bigger, stronger, more durable,
more punches, better punch selection.
All right, guys, I'm gonna end the show. We've been here for 3 hours. I think we're going on in circles here.
Yes.
But anyways, guys, thank you for joining the show. We will see you next time. Take care.
Thanks to Mirage.
Yep. All right, people on YouTube, thank you for being on the show. Yeah, I know Mirage is fucking annoying. We need to do something about that shit. But stay tuned for the next show, probably a post-fight show, because we have some very good fights tomorrow. So there's a lot to talk about. Also, check out our latest documentary, The Best of 2024. And that's pretty much it, guys. Have a good night. Take care.
Listos, pelos, chingazos. Listos, pelos, chingazos.
I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's got to be biblical.